taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
And a very pleasant good evening. Welcome to the Full Velocity Network. Here live tonight. It is Sunday night. And of course, we're here at the FTF Jones Cup Series for the FTF Racing playoffs here. The UFI Round of 12. Race number 4 for the slate of 10 we've had scheduled here. The entire 2017 FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs being broadcasted flag to flag live here on the Full Velocity Network. And we're thrilled to have every one of you aboard here tonight for the Canadian 400K A from the Charlotte Motor Speedway here, beautiful downtown Concord, North Carolina. You know, get that A in there, Canadian 400K A. You know, it's going to be fun to play with tonight. But welcome aboard tonight, Phil LeCasse here, Todd Stanton and Joe Allen, as always, at the controls for us here on Full Velocity. And what more can you say, Todd? We've seen 3 fantastic races here these last 3 weeks at FTF, and back here tonight, beginning the UFI Round of 12. Buckle in. It's going to be an awesome night.
Yeah, definitely going to be an awesome night. Been stoked, been excited here. The last couple of races here at FTF have been very, very, very stout. Stout feuds, stout fields, all kinds of different things. And I'm tongue twisting myself up here tonight. But these guys have put on one whale of a show over the last, I'm going to say last 3 weeks. The last 2 weeks have been really, really phenomenal. Over these guys just able to green flag stretch runs and what they've been able to do. It just shows you the caliber of drivers that we have here week in and week out at the FTF. It's just awesome.
Oh, it certainly is. Probably the top notch of the most competitive group of cup racing you'll find anywhere in the NR2-on-3 community. And it brings us here to Charlotte tonight here for 167 laps. Joe Allen, it's going to be a really fast night here around Charlotte Motor Speedway, as it always is. And the way this racetrack looks in practice, we're going to see a lot of racing here. It looks like 2, maybe 3 distinct lines. We're going to be in for one whale of a race ahead.
Yes, sir, guys. It's going to be a fun and exciting event tonight. 2 or 3 distinct grooves, which is characteristic for a lot of the mile-and-a-half tracks that FTF has produced this year for their drivers to run on. And we're back over here, similar to last week. We're with the new EXC. They consider that their low downforce package, so it almost eliminates any of the draft properties that come with the original built EXCs in this game, and it really makes for some fun and exciting racing. So I'm super pumped. These guys have put on awesome shows the last 3 weeks that we've been with them, and you know, I know expectations are high for them this evening, and it's the first race of the UFI Round of 12, so someone is going to lock themselves into the Sim Racing Association Round of 8 moving forward tonight, and I can't wait. It's going to be fun. You know, these guys have always been class acts out here. Justin Malillo, Kevin McAdams, they come out here and they put a lot of time and effort into this series to put on the best production and best show that they can.
No, they certainly do, and it's going to be one awesome night. 3 stages here tonight, 40, 40, and 87 that'll round out the field here this evening to make up 167 laps, 400 kilometers here for these guys tonight here over at FTF. Race number 4 of the FTF playoffs here. The chase drivers you can see on your screen, they're going to have green highlights, green spoilers, green nose pieces on their car, so you'll be able to stick them out in a crowd. But 12 drivers coming in tonight in championship contention here, still alive for this UFI Round of 12. Of course, this is race number 1 here, so we've got 3 races here in this round. Taylor Morgans, you know, he was a winner here 2 weeks ago. Colin Keister won here last week. The likes of Derek Justice, Kevin McAdams, David Schildhouse, Chris Wetz, Maverick Morrow, Jason Justice, Corey Carpenter, Andrew Swartz, Matt Vassar, and Blake McCandless. Those 12 drivers all come into the evening with hopes of a championship here, and by way of getting a victory here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, advance their ticket and put their stamp on that UFI Round of 12 next week if we can come away with a victory here tonight. But we're getting ready to put this thing under the green flag for 167 laps. So without further ado, let's throw it trackside. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats. we're playing of tonight's national anthem. Back here live at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Canadian 400K at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 22 of the best drivers this community has ever seen getting set to take stage here for 167 laps around this lightning fast mile-and-a-half quad oval at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So without further ado, Todd, these cars getting ready to set on the grid. Let's dive straight into tonight's starting lineup. What do you say?
And now tonight's starting lineup for the FTF Racing Canadian 400KA from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Starting on the pole, driving the number 17, that's Matt Vassar. His dancing partner to the outside, driving the number 36, that's Taylor Morgans.
Rolling off for number 2 tonight on the inside, we find a great qualifying run for the driver of a 92. That is Matt Durr, and to his outside aboard the Doritos Chevrolet number 26, that is Kevin McAdams.
Starting in that 5th starting position, driving the number 14, that's Colin Keister. Outside of him, driving the 57, that's Maverick Morrow.
Row number 4, we find a pair of playoff contenders. Rolling off in the 71 tonight will be Chris Wetz, and to his outside in the number 30, that's Corey Carpenter.
Starting inside row number 5, in that 9th starting position, driving the number 20, that's last year's champion here. That's David Schildhaus. And outside of him, driving the number 31, he made it to the final round of 4 last year. Can he do it again this year? That's the driver, 31, Derek Justice.
The command to fire engines just been given, rolling off on the 11th position tonight aboard car number 67. That is Andrew Swartz, and to his outside, a different number but a familiar name to us here on FDN. A rare appearance at FTF for the 47, that is Robert Baucom.
Starting in that 13th starting position, driving the number 16, that's racing Jason Justice, and outside of him, driving the number 74, that's Blake McCandless.
Alex Ruther all off from 15th tonight aboard car number 0, and to his outside in the 83, that's Noah Hart.
Inside, in the 17th starting position, driving the number 9, that's Brandon Lawson. Outside of him, driving the number 24 in the 18th starting position, that's Philip Kraus.
Rolling off row number 10 on the inside aboard car number 76, that is Noah Carmichael, and to his outside in the 54, that's DJ Curtis.
Shotgun on the field, driving the number 53, that's Justin Malolo.
All right, so I counted wrong. That's 21 drivers here that have taken time that are going to take the green flag here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 167 laps around. Stage is broken up tonight. 40 laps through stage 1, 40 laps into stage number 2. No caution flag between stages, mind you. And also here the last stage sets up for 87 laps. That's going to make up 400 kilometers here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The field making its way off of turn number 4, Matt Vassar, Taylor Morgan's there. Todd, with your front row, we're going to bring this thing to green flag racing. What do you say?
Yeah, getting ready to put that loud pedal down, waiting on that flagger to throw that green flag. Green flag is in the air. The Western Auto sponsored number 17 of Matt Vassar. That's a nice throwback scheme there. Number 17, and the Kit Kat on the outside. That's Taylor Morgan's. I like that scheme too. And as Phil was saying, he's pretty hungry with that Kit Kat sponsor machine there.
Oh, man, love me some Kit Kat there. Taylor will bring the Kit Kat Chevrolet into that second spot. Kevin McAdams leaves the high side. He'll propel his way to third. Matt Durr will line up fourth. Racing action back there around that 5th spot. Colin Keister is there. He's got a miracle of Maverick Morrow peeking from the inside off of turn 4 to complete lap number 1.
Yeah, completing lap number 1, we got Maverick Morrow in the number 57, dropping back through the field of number 30 of Corey Carpenter on the top side of the speedway. He's trying to work himself around the 57 of Maverick Morrow. Right now they're side by side down the back straightaway.
Side by side on the backstretch. Thought Maverick was going to make that move on the 14, but he fell into the clutches, as Todd said. Back to the 30, the Sunoco Chevrolet. Corey Carpenter using the outside to his advantage. I think as you're going to see here, Todd, we're going to see multiple lanes around the Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight. It's going to make for a terrific race here as we're already working lap number 3. All still chasing pole sitter Matt Vassar as they exit turn 2.
Yeah, Matt Vassar continues to set a torrid pace out front of the field, about 10 car length advantage over the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. Right now sitting in that third spot, the 26 of Kevin McAdams. Fourth is Matt Durr, having a good run here early. Good qualifying effort for that number 92 machine. Colin Keister running in that fifth spot in that number 14 machine.
Yeah, Colin right there in the fourth spot, looking at the 92 of Matt Durr, and a guy who was eliminated from championship contention last week in the SMS round of 16, but the 92 with a terrific qualifying run in the top 3 here tonight. Currently in that 4th spot, little gap between themselves and 5th place Colin Keister as those guys back there start jockeying for position, all kind of single file, keeping a peek on the 31, the Baskin-Robbins Ford of Derek Justice. He keeps peeking to the outside of that 57 of Maverick Morrow. Can't quite find running room there, but just really interesting to see here, Todd, at Charlotte, how these guys, you would normally set your passes up to the low side, but looks like the outside lane going to have a tremendous amount of grip here tonight, and you're going to see something a little bit different than you normally see at Charlotte. Guys setting up passes maybe to the outside of these corners.
Yeah, it looks like the outside group is working over pretty good now. Derek Justice trying to climb back down to the bottom side in that number 31 Baskin-Robbins sponsor machine. He's trying to fight side by side here with Maverick Morrow. At the same time, here comes Corey Carpenter. He's looking to make himself inside the top 5. Derek Justice completes the pass on the 57. That was for that 7th spot. As now it looks like the number 30 machine of Corey Carpenter still going to run in that 5th spot. So it's going to be Colin Keister was able to hold him off for just a split second as Corey Carpenter now moves into 5th in that number 30.
And it's a Charlotte Motor Speedway, Joe Allen. You know, normally here you're going to see the right front tire begin to wear here. Usually, you know, tire wear, tire heat, always an issue here at Charlotte. You know, it's early on in the go. We're only 7 laps in. How much do you think about abusing those tires early on in this race? Knowing that, you know, you got 40 laps to stage number 1, you're not going to make it all the way there on fuel per se, but how cognitive are you of not running off your tires here through these opening laps and making your way through the field?
You know, Phil, I think it comes down more to driver preference. Some guys are going to go out there and they're going to start tire saving from the get-go and, you know, try to see how much time they can make up on some of these other guys who are going to run their stuff off, you know, from the beginning of the run, because it's a really good gauge on what you need to do later on, whether you were too conservative, whether you weren't conservative enough. And then there's other guys like Matt Vassar, like Taylor Morgan's, guys like that who will run up front and will actually purposely run their stuff off at the beginning of a race, knowing that it's a long race, just to see how hard they can push the envelope there and what exactly they may need to do later on in the event. So you really have 2 different types of drivers. You have the conservative driver from the start, then you have the drivers who may run up front that may abuse their stuff a little bit early on just to see what exactly it is they can get out of their car and know exactly where that edge is and what they need to do and how to prepare for later on in the event.
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention to that. As Todd, there's been some great racing going on back there for that 3rd spot. Kevin McAdams made his way around the Taylor Morgan's machine, but there's good racing going on there between the 92 of Matt Durr up high, the 30 of Corey Carpenter down low. Those guys almost 3 wide as they hit the front stretch.
As Matt Durr on the outside trying to get around Kevin McAdams as he's been not able to make the pass down on the bottom side. That number 92 machine now trying to the top side. Corey Carpenter's added himself into that fray. Is Corey Carpenter now going to almost make a 3 wide down the back straightaway? A little bit of aggressive move there early on in the going for that number 30 of Corey Carpenter, pushing the 26 up the track just a little bit. Maybe the 26 was getting just a little bit worried there. The 30 was coming through that corner of Corey Carpenter, but Corey Carpenter kept it out of the 26. Great move for the number 30 there here early on in the going.
Yeah, certainly a great move there as you're seeing the 30 down to the low side. McAdams a little bit loose in that top lane, trying to rim ride, if you will, up in that outside wall. Almost made contact. He gathered that in really nicely. Got a terrific launch off of turn number 2 down the backstretch, and he's going to eke out that position into 3 and 4. But as you see, here comes that low side back going. Carpenter gets a little bit of wiggle off of 4. He'll fall back in line, so it just shows the power of that outside lane, looking to be a very raceable surface here this evening, and looks like almost through these opening dozen laps, it's going to be the preferred line around. So that's going to make for some awesome pictures here, and it's going to be a terrific night on the Full Velocity Network. Welcome to everybody out there in YouTube land. See, it's already been a busy place out there. Keep interacting with us all night long, and any questions, feedback, or whatever comments you get out there, all three of us, I believe, have access to it, and we love to interact with you guys. It makes the nights go around, makes it a lot of fun, and these guys out here so far through the opening 13 laps have really put on one whale of a race. But the story so far, the pole sitter was Matt Vassar, and he's pulled away, Todd. It's almost a full second advantage now as they work their way off of turn number 4.
Yeah, almost a full second advantage over the number 17 as we come down the back straightaway into turn number 3. The 17 of Matt Vassar still holding on to that lead over the number 36 of Taylor Morgan's. Right, last time by it was .726. Let's see what this time by is going to prevail. It looks like it's going to be .574, so the gap is closing. So half a second between Taylor Morgan's and the 17 of Matt Vassar. Vassar tried to run away and hide, maybe right off into the sunset here early in the going. He might have blistered those tires underneath that number 17 machine. As Taylor Morgan knows how to conserve his tires, and that number 36 machine starting to reel them back in here, and pretty quick, Phil.
Really quick, starting to reel in, but I've been peeking back to the races for 6th position on back. Maverick Morrow was there. He had a good challenge from Derek Justice, who got a little bit loose. Right behind them, the 20 of David Schildhaus, the champ, to the low side. He makes running room around the 14 of Colin Keister, so move David now up to that 7th spot. But here comes that 31 of Derek Justice, Todd. Same story. He keeps trying to find room underneath the 57 of Morrow. Another lap, he can't make that work, but we know Derek, he's going to be persistent. And if there's grip to be found to the low side, he's eventually going to find it. As one car up, loose up, almost near the wall, believe that be the Matt Durr machine. He's going to slip up the racetrack, allow the 57 there. So that's a battle for the position number 5 as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, Matt Durr has position number 5 as of right now through turn number 1 and through out of turn number 2. But it looks like Maverick Morrow going to be able to complete the pass off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. But the 57 of Maverick Morrow to that 5th spot. Put Matt Durr back to 6th in the number 92 machine. There comes David Schildhaus. Wow, wholesale maneuver around the 31 machine. That was a power move by the champ, David Schildhaus, in that number 20 machine. He was able to make Derek Justice look like he threw an anchor out the back of that car.
He certainly did. And talking to the champ earlier today, he said, smart money tonight, and we'll throw that out there to Joe Allen today. Maybe he'll take notes down there, but smart money tonight, he says, always bet on the 20 at Charlotte. So we know David Schildhaus, he's very flamboyant. He's very fast, a defending champion of the series, and he's starting to pick his way forward. He's going to make up another position there. He's going to make the move on the 92 of Matt Durr. The 14 now of Keister is there as well. That's a good race back there for about that 8th spot as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, good race through the field as of right now. The number 20 of David Schildhaus, like we said, up to that 6th spot, so he's making some moves up through the field. The number 57 of Maverick Morrow trying to also make a move on the number 30 of Corey Carpenter. Corey Carpenter settled into that 4th spot in that number 30 machine. Maverick Morrow still running 5th in the 57. But don't count out David Schildhaus. Schildhaus coming through the field like a rocket in that number 20 machine. He has really closed the gap on the 57 of Maverick Morrow down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he certainly has. Another car out there that's certainly turned into a rocket over these last laps, as Todd has said. The 36 of Taylor Morgan's, he brought what was a full second advantage, now down to precious car lengths. Call that 2 or 3 car lengths on our race leader, the number 17 Western Auto machine. How about that paint scheme for Matt Vassar, breaking out the old Darrell Waltrip machine? He's got the race lead from the pole, but as we approach lap number 20, he's got a mirror full of that Kit Kat Chevrolet. Here comes Taylor Morgan's. He's going to peek to the low side, looking to take the lead as they hit turn 1.
Definitely not giving the number 17 of Matt Vassar a break, and that Kit Kat sponsor machine is the number 30 of Taylor Morgan's, down on the bottom side by side, down the back straightaway. They're still side by side, so Vassar not going away. But here comes the 36 of Morgan's back down to the bottom side again. Oh, they almost made contact there through the corner. Oh, Morgan's was drifting up the track, and I thought they were going around.
Yeah, I think Vassar was kind of looking at that Kit Kat scheme, singing, give me a break, and Taylor got a little bit pushy there, almost into the side of the 17. I think the man on a better part of Valor there, the 36 pulls it back in line, going to let Vassar reset. May have, ruined his tires a little bit there with that big move. We've seen the big push up the racetrack, but that's a good race for the lead. That's going to bring the likes of Kevin McAdams back into this fray, as well as he started to chase down that top 2 as they start racing. There is good battle going on for 4th there, Todd. Carpenter and Morrow almost making contact. That's allowed Schildhaus to get around that battle.
Well, Schildhaus was fighting there as the 30 of Corey Carpenter was passed by the 57 of Maverick Morrow. It looked like contact was made between the 14 of Colin Keister and the 30 machine. That was a battle for about the 7th spot. So these guys have jockeyed for position all around the Speedway. There's been quite a few changes with the number 20 machine of David Schildhouse now up to that 4th spot. 5th right now is the 57 of Maverick Morrow.
Yeah, good running in the top 5. It's an update from the garage area. We've had our first piston of the night. Well, I guess that would be piston, if you will. The number 24 of Philip Kraus going up in smoke. Looks like engine expiring there. But 24's night is done, unfortunately. The Speed Inc. machine behind the wall. Philip Kraus's night is going to be over in the 24 in a tough break. That 24 notorious for years and years, Todd, being one of the heavy hitter cars here at FTF. And Philip Kraus has put some terrific runs here recently in it as well, and unfortunately the 24's night's going to be over early. Piston, or piston as they would call it there under the hood. Too bad for that number 24. That car usually fast out here, and definitely stinks to be out so early on in the go, just 20 laps in.
Yeah, definitely tough for Philip Kraus and that number 24 machine out of this event. Meanwhile, back up front, the 36 of Taylor Morgans takes over the lead, and now the 17 of Matt Vassar falls back to second. But don't look now. Here comes the 26 of Kevin McAdams and the number 20 of David Schildhouse, and those guys are starting to make up some ground.
Yeah, making up ground as well. That top 3 has really come together. There is a Schildhouse now up to that 4th spot in the 20. Racing good going on for that 5th position there between the 14 of Colin Keister, the 57 of Maverick Morrow, and also look who's also coming to the fray here. You burn off some tires, you burn off a little bit of fuel, you can always bank on the 74 of Blake McCandless finding his way forward. Blake has found his way, nestles up to the top 10. Believe this as I say that, he may have come to pit road there for tires.
Yeah, the 74 of Blake, sorry about that. The 74 of Blake was down on pit road, completed his service down on pit road as I was trying to catch him there, but wasn't able to. As I see the number 83 spinning through the grass, I believe that's Noah Hart spinning down through the grass here. I'm not sure what happened to Noah Hart, but Hart down through the grass now going down the pit road. Looks like he's going to come to the aid of his pit crew. Tough break for Noah Hart.
Oh, it certainly was, and I'm not sure if there's anything worthy there to go back and show on the replay. I'll give it a peek myself, see if there's something worthy there to kind of note to Joe. But looks like just coming off of turn 4, maybe have just kind of overshot the entrance to pit road, and not sure if it was just a pit road issue there or what happened with the 83 of Noah Hart. Definitely had issues there, got really loose trying to get on pit road, pounded the inside wall, or pounded the outside wall down through the grass. And onto pit road. He's still on pit road getting that car repaired. So there was some heavy contact for the 83, but these guys, it looks like, still under green flag conditions, and the leaders are about a lap or 2 away from coming to pit road. Pit road, a busy place there, Todd.
Pit road, definitely a busy place here, waiting for some of these guys to come to the aid of their pit crews, and a lot of these guys, I've pretty much seen them take 4 tires. Looks like 71s took four tires. The 57 took 4 tires. So all these guys taking 4 tires. I don't know if it's going to be the right call to go 2 tires this early on in the going. I believe that it looks like the tires do fall off just a little bit in these machines, just watching the intervals and watching the different lap times throughout this race so far.
Yeah, just to update, race leader Matt Vassar came in, or he was 2nd place in the running. He came in, also took 4. Also, Colin Keister was on for 4. The 67 of Andrew Schwartz was also on pit road for 4. So these guys definitely in the window. 30 to 34 laps, I believe, is pretty safe to say here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway as far as what fuel strategy comes to. Now, trouble on the racetrack off of turn number 2. I'm seeing the 30 car of Corey Carpenter the wrong direction. I believe also the 9 of Brandon Lawson may have got a piece there as well, and that's going to bring caution flag onto the speedway. Caution flag for the first time tonight. Contact between the 9 and the 30, Todd.
Yeah, definitely contact between the number 9 of Brandon Lawson and the 30 of Corey Carpenter. Tough breaks for both those machines, as Brandon Lawson is claiming that we'll wait and see what the replay looks like. Brandon Lawson did come over and say that was his caution. So unfortunately, Brandon Lawson going to join the tail also. And Corey Carpenter, heavy damage to the rear end of that number 30 machine. That's a tough break for Corey Carpenter, that Sunoco sponsored machine.
No, it certainly is. Contact there. Not sure if it was tires. Not sure if the 9 just had a run, but that pink target machine for Brandon Lawson there, Joe, had a terrific run going, as did Corey. Contact there. Not sure if there was something going on there with a tire going down or whatever, but give us a look at it and tell us that story, because I want to see more of what happened there.
Yes, sir, guys. Tough break for Brandon Lawson and Corey Carpenter. Corey actually had some trouble earlier on in the event, some contact with Colin Keister down the front straightaway that put him into the fence down the front straightaway and really set him back from where he was. So under this replay review, though, we're going to focus on the 30 and the 9 car. Brandon Lawson just barrels it down into turn 1 here. Looks like he can carry the momentum a lot better through the center than Corey was able to, and he just misjudges as far as when he gets back into the throttle and hits the left rear bumper of that number 30 machine and sends Corey up and backs it into the fence. Turns that thing into a hatchback, unfortunately. Hard contact for Corey Carpenter there. Tough break for a guy that is battling for a chase here. Brandon Lawson was eliminated round 1 in the SMS Leagues Round of 16, and tough break for a chase contender, or for a playoff contender there, guys. This 2017 Jones playoff, you really can't afford to have these misfortune and mistakes early on in this event, especially with how important it is to win, to move on and collect those stage points and everything. So a very, very, very tough break for that 30 machine. He's going to really have to go in there and rebound and try to salvage the rest of his night here, which is going to be really tough, especially with the damage on that rear end. That's going to really upset it. With the way this new EXC works for these guys, you really burn off the right rear end. I mean, we see guys slipping and sliding around on old tires, and when you eliminate even more of that rear downforce, when you crunch up the rear end like that, it's going to make it a lot tougher on him to go out there and be competitive. And with a lot of these guys coming in and short pitting and a lot of the leaders coming down pit road, this is really going to shake things up as well, as far as getting this thing back under green and who's going to be on the lead lap, who's going to take a wave around, who's going to be a lucky dog. A lot of shakeups in the standings, I'm sure. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, and Joe, just to touch on that point a little more about having damage out there and soldiering on for a night. If memory serves, I believe you were out here at FTF in May for the 600 running here we did here around Memorial Day weekend. I believe you were involved in a little bit of a skirmish, had a little bit of front-end damage, and car kind of looked a lot like that 30. How much is that going to hamper you out here tonight with that damage the 30 has now? Aerodynamic, because it seems like Charlotte's a place that aerodynamics, are a lot more critical than what you would see for other mile-and-a-half racetracks. I mean, they're always crucial, but for some reason Charlotte always seems to be that one that just creeps up and gets you further.
Yeah, it's mainly, just as far as what the speed is when you're running around Charlotte. And although they tried to eliminate the majority of the draft properties here, you're not going to, completely 100% get rid of it in this game. And this game really relies on that to be fast out there. So he's definitely going to feel the effects of it. Luckily, it still is a matter of how well you can save your tires. I mean, these guys for the last 3 weeks have put on some really long green flag runs. I don't anticipate anything is going to change here based on what we've seen so far, but it's going to make things a lot more difficult. Aerodynamics are everything to a race car. It doesn't matter what level you're racing at or where you're racing. Keeping the fenders clean is what's going to keep you fast. So he's going to have to rebound. He's going to have to run a little bit harder than he probably wants to run, but in order to kind of get up there and stay competitive, it's what he's going to end up having to do. So it'll be interesting to see, how he is for a guy that really, even himself had said that he may have not been a top 10 car throughout the regular season. He's really come alive in the FTF playoff race here. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what it is he can and can't do.
All right, so the 1 to go going to be given, I believe, this time around. A lot of wave-around cars here on the Speedway there, Todd. Those guys had just come onto pit road. I count about 6 or 8, maybe even as many as 10 cars all taking a wave-around, getting back to the lead lap. The problem for them is they had to come in and pit, before this caution flag came out. Probably about a good lap or two as far as race conditions go on those tires. How much do you think that is going to play to a detriment? Sure, you got your way back to the lead lap, but do you think even a lap or two at a place like Charlotte, where tire wear, tire heat always comes into play, you think that extra lap or two those guys may have lost getting onto pit road early? Are they going to lose anything on this next little run?
I don't think they're going to lose all that much as they did come down on the pit road that early. Taylor Morgans, David Schildhouse, Matt Vassar, Blake McCandless, Maverick Morrow, Schwartz, Wetz, Balcom, and Kellen Keister. Those guys were all the wave-around cars here this time. They were out in front of that leader of Kevin McAdams. McAdams was third in the running order when those guys started to go down pit road. McAdams seen a yellow, and it looked like he was able to stay out there just a little bit longer, clutched it just a little bit, as again the 14 was the lucky dog of Colin Keister. So the rest of those guys were all waiver rounds. We are going to go green this time by, but like I said, Phil, I don't think it's going to matter that much. I don't think they got enough heat into their tires. 1 or 2 laps. Fuel mileage might play a key factor more than tires.
What we're going to have to wait and see is the field now making their exit off of turn number 4. We're going to go back under green flag conditions. We're going to have 5 laps to go here left in stage number 1. So now you put stage points and those critical playoff points here in the back of your mind for what these guys are racing for going forward. The first race of the UFI round of 12. We're back under green flag conditions. The 26 of Kevin McAdams, the 92 of Matt Durr restart on the outside there. Jason Justice, Justin Malello, and Derek Justice make up your top 5 on the restart. They exit turn number 2. The 26 off to about a 5-car length advantage. Single file back there to second, Matt Durr. The 16 of Justice, single file Todd throughout the majority of the top 10. As the first battle back there is between the 20 of David Schildhaus, the 76 of Noah Carmichael. That's racing back all the way back for, I believe, the 8th spot now as they hit the front stretch. 4 laps to go here in stage 1.
Yeah, 4 laps to go. It's the 92 of Matt Durr on the outside, and he is trying to get around the 26 of Kevin McAdams here. Not able to pull off the pass there, but he's still right there down the back straight away. Side-by-side battle. Jason Justice right into the fray, racing Jason Justice in the 16 Bud Light sponsor machine, able to almost pull off a pass here for that second spot. He's trying to get around Matt Durr. Here comes the number 53 of Justin Malello. Malello running inside the top 5 in that 4th spot. So Justin now trying to get around Jason for 3rd.
Yeah, good racing there for 3rd. I just keep peeking the 92 of Matt Durr. He keeps climbing a little bit closer to the wall every time he comes off the corner. This time he loses a tremendous amount of steam. That's allowed the 16 to sneak on by, but now here comes the 53 of Malello. He's going to put that car to the inside. It's a battle of a Chevrolet low, that blue Ford to the top. They're going to be side by side now. That's for the 2nd spot down the front stretch approaching turn 1.
Yeah, down the front stretch, approaching turn number 1 here, down through turn number 2. Put Jason Justice into the 2nd spot. These guys with those blue-looking spoilers, those guys are the contenders here inside the top 12. Number 16 of Jason Justice running into that 2nd spot. Again, trying to get those important stage points here as this is starting to come to an end here, Phil, as we're on lap 39 now of 167. 40 laps is the distance for stage 1.
Sorry about that, Todd. I was blowing up your ear there, but I saw some heavy contact between the 31 of Derek Justice and number 92 of Matt Durr. They worked their way down to the end of the dog leg. There was contact there. The 92 pounded the outside wall. Gotta believe that the 92 of Matt Durr is going to have a little bit of damage. That's going to kill the run, move the 31 forward, but they're wrestling there for those precious stage point, Todds, and maybe that brought the wick of anticipation up a little bit, brought that excitement factor into it, and that put DJ up to that 4th spot. Certainly not the way he wanted to do that, and certainly a tough break for the 92.
Awesome battle for the lead going on, Phil, as you were talking about that. Jason Justice moved into the top spot there in the number 16 machine. Here comes Kevin McAdams back down to the bottom side. They're switching just as quick as they can here. Looks like Kevin McAdams going to be able to, I believe, lead this time, and he's going to win this stage. I believe that was Kevin McAdams, Jason Justice. It's going to be Justin Malello, Derek Justice, Matt Durr, Taylor Morgans, Colin Keister, David Schildhaus, Corey Carpenter, and Noah Carmichael. That's your top 10 there, as that's going to officially end the first segment here of this race. They're going to keep going green flag, but those guys, and like I said, it's all unofficial out there, is the FTF admins do complete this at the end of the race, but that's our unofficial there, Phil, is it looks like McAdams taking down that stage win.
Yeah, precious stage win there for Kevin McAdams, picking up that precious playoff point there. Jason Justice also clocking in. Also our playoff contenders, Derek Justice getting a point there in the playoffs. Taylor Morgans, Colin Keister, David Schildhaus, Corey Carpenter, and Maverick Morrow. All those guys, scoring those stage points, if you will. Playoff contenders outside that top 10. Chris Wetz, Matt Vassar, Blake McCandless, Andrew Swartz. Those guys not scoring those points. So as we peek forward till we get the elimination stages of this UFI round of 12, every point here is going to be critical, and those guys are on the outside looking in, but looking back up front, great race for the lead. The 16 to the low side, he got incredibly loose off of turn 2. That's allowed McAdams out there, and that's going to bring the 53 of Malello up to that 2nd spot in the turn 3.
Yeah, Malolo up to that second spot in turn number 3. Around Jason Justice now sets his sights on the 26 of Kevin McAdams. McAdams right now your current race leader in the number 26 machine. Meanwhile, Derek Justice starting to close the gap in on these top 3 guys because they've been running side by side here throughout this last couple of laps, and Justice able to catch these guys, as now it looks like the 36 of Taylor Morgan is into that 5th spot. He's starting to move up through the field also, and David Schildhaus also moving up through the field. Remember, those guys were wave around cars here, so they had to start at the tail end of this lead lap when they got there. So they got the wave around, they got to join the tail end of the field, and now they've made their way up through that field. And again, Taylor Morgan's 5th, and now David Schildhaus 6th. So these guys flying around the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, they certainly are. 45 laps in of 167 that make up the Canadian 400KA from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race number 4 of the FTF Jones Cup playoffs. Race number 1 of the UFI Round of 12 here. 3 stages for this round of 12 drivers that will advance. 8 of them advance to the SRA round of 8 here 3 weeks from tonight. Live flag-to-flag coverage right here on the Full Velocity Network. But so far, so good. Slowed by 1 caution flag. A very raceable surface at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And no surprise at all, you come to Charlotte, you find the likes of Kevin McAdams up front. But I'm peeking back, further on back, the likes of Taylor Morgans, David Schildhaus, and even Colin Keister, who's got fresher tires. Those guys are starting to carve their way through back from that back half dozen. They're starting to run those top 3 down. We may have a 6-car tandem for the lead here in about a lap or so, Todd. These guys are cutting that interval in half.
Yeah, I just trying to look at different intervals through the field here, just watching these guys, how quickly that they're shrinking these intervals. So the 26, Kevin McAdams, you got 0.249 back to the 53 of Justin Malello. Now that's starting to grow just a little bit, but Derek Justice now up to that 3rd spot. He is now running down the 53 of Justin Malello. I think Malello has burned his tires up just a little bit on that 53 machine. Jason Justice dropped back to 4th. But then you got a nice little clip back to the number 36 machine of Taylor Morgan. So those guys just riding back there, him and David Schildhaus, Colin Keister right there. So that's another 3-car group. Keister trying to challenge Schildhaus just a little bit, not able to pull off the pass.
Not able to pull that pass off, but I was noticing the interval, Todd. That 3-car pack there led by Taylor Morgans, they started to shrink that interval a little bit more. It was about 2.5 seconds about 4 laps ago. It was down to just over 1.7 last time around and closing. Those guys staying nose to tail. They may be running down this crew a little bit, but as we say that, not nose to tail anymore. Here comes the 14 of Keister. He's to the low side of the 20. That's almost side-by-side racing for the 7th spot now off of turn 4.
Just as quick as that developed, it quickly ended as Schildhaus able to hold off the 14 of Colin Keister there momentarily. Looks like Schildhaus going to the top side. He's trying to get around the 36 of Taylor Morgans now. Morgan slips up the track, almost hits the wall there. And the number 36 machine, as Morgans was trying to go up the track there, and I believe to maybe even kill a little bit of the momentum of David Schildhaus. Here comes the 14 of Colin Keister. Now Keister moves inside to the top 6 with that number 14 machine, as the number 20 machine of David Schildhaus drops back to 7th.
Yeah, Schildhaus back to 7th. That Amazon Ford, he may have been on there shopping for a little more grip to the outside lane, a little bit of contact with the outside wall. Not sure if that was enough to hurt the fender, but it certainly broke the progress of that run. He's definitely lost a couple of car lengths to these guys, so we'll let the 20 get it all gathered back up, but he's lost position on the racetrack now, running in that 7th spot. But so far, Todd, looking at the laps, clicking away, 52 laps in. We're about 27 laps away from the end of stage number 2. These guys have had to eclipse, through the stages of 1 and 2 under a green flag condition. So at least one more pit stop for these guys in between here before we get to the end of the stage. At this point, if you look at the leaderboard, you got a little less than 30 laps to go. Are you thinking at all, if you're the likes of guys who, would normally, have to run for these stage points here, the likes of, say, a Blake McCandless, like a Matt Vassar, guys that are outside the top 10, do you start thinking about maybe short pitting from here, knowing these guys have to stop again, gaining a little bit of time on fresh tires, and maybe playing the benefit of a caution like we saw through the round of green flag pit stops in the last stage?
Well, that's one of those things. Short pitting can really mess up your night if it's not. You're going down on pit road and a yellow flag just happens to come out. That can mess up your night. We've seen it happen to David Schildhouse last week. We've seen it happen to David Schildhouse multiple times. Whether it be lately, it's just been one of those things where he's been on the wrong end of that in one of our broadcasts. And short pitting, we've seen it, and it can help. I mean, we've seen Blake McCandless win a stage on short pitting, or even staying out even longer than he's supposed to. Those stage points are very, very detrimental to your championship hunt here. Is that you want to grab as many stage points as you can.
Well, how crucial those playoff points are. You know, you look at the point standings coming in tonight, and you got the likes of, Taylor Morgans comes in tonight with 45 playoff points. He's got a 40-point cushion on the current cutoff line, which would be back to the 8th spot. Colin Keister, he's got a 26-point buffer on the strength of 31 playoff points, 30 playoff points for Derek Justice, Kevin McAdams, 28, 24 for David Schildhouse. So those playoff points go a long way, and they're going to need every one of those playoff points they can get to advance into this next advance through the UFI round of 12 here in a couple of weeks. And you'll have to see what all this racing is going to go. Don't forget, we got the likes of Talladega coming up on the schedule here, so that's definitely a wild card event. Anything can happen anytime you go to Talladega. But looking out on the racetrack, we see a good battle shaping up for, I believe that's position number 6 between the 20 of David Schildhouse to 16 of Jason Justice. Looks like the Bud Light Ford there, Todd, may have burned up his stuff a little bit. So now he's starting to slip back to the back part of the top 10.
Well, as you were watching that battle for the 6th position on back, I was watching an awesome battle for the lead between Derek Justice and the 26 of Kevin McAdams. McAdams has a yield just a little bit, the 31 of Derek Justice now to the lead, about a car length and a half over the 26 of Kevin McAdams. I was just saying to you guys, I remember a couple of weeks ago these guys had a little tiff between one another, and I was saying drivers don't forget things like that. I was just hoping that would be a nice clean race. I think those guys are pretty outstanding drivers, and I think they pretty much forgot about what went on there in the past, but it's probably in the back of the head. But those guys race each other clean. Derek Justice now out to about a 3-car length advantage now over the number 26 machine of Kevin McAdams.
Yeah, I think anybody who knows race car drivers certainly have a long memory, so you got to imagine Kevin McAdams has that one stored back in the memory bank. May not be the time and place if you have any kind of dividends and scores you want to settle here, especially not at a place like a Charlotte. But we always know, Joe Allen, aggressive goes around, and we're having some good aggressive racing out there. I think it's too early, though. If you have a grudge and an axe you want to settle, I think in a place like Charlotte, the high speeds, and not even halfway home yet, I think it's far too early to think about that. But definitely something the 26 has got to have in the back of his mind from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, race car drivers have a very long memory, and they'll go out and race each other hard every week. But as events continue to accumulate in a race car driver's mind, they're obviously going to take matters into their own hands. I don't anticipate seeing anything of that nature happening, at Charlotte with how high the speeds are. But I think if you're looking for payback at all, and the situation presents itself just right, you could see something like that happen at a track like Martinsville in a few weeks. That could definitely be a place where if you, for example, if Derek's up there in the lead and Kevin needs a win to advance, I wouldn't be surprised to see Kevin give him the old bumper going down into turn 1 or turn 4 or turn 3, or if the opportunity were to present itself, you could see him do something like that. They have long memories, but unless temper's just boiled over at Charlotte, I don't see something like that happening. I mean, it's one thing to get into a guy and kind of move him out of the way, and it's another thing to just flat out ruin a guy's night. And I don't think anybody out here is purposely trying to go out and ruin someone's night. Otherwise, they most likely wouldn't be here.
That's a true sentiment there. But Todd, just to update some stuff happening toward pit road, we talked about that. Maybe some guys coming in short pit. Looks like we got a pretty aggressive little group that did so. The 17 of Matt Vassar, the 57 of Maverick Morrow, the 71 of Chris Wetz, the 74 of Blake McCandless, and also the 47 of Robert Bauckham. All those guys came in electing the short pit, maybe gamble on those tires, maybe gamble on some stage points later on. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and what's going on. But we've got some great racing all around the racetrack.
Yeah, as you were talking about some of this other stuff there, Phil, I was watching the 83. He was coming off the bank to try to be one of those guys who short pit, and he hasn't had a good night so far. He spun out trying to pit twice now. This is his second time as he comes down on the pit road. He comes off that bank and down on the pit road. Looks like he's trying to dirt track it, Phil, and it's just not going to work here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 83 Noah Hart went around again, so it's going to cost him precious seconds on the track once again for the number 83 machine.
Yeah, definitely that. But looking toward pit road, looks like it's open amongst our race leaders. I see the 31 of Derek Justice peeked in. Also the 36 of Taylor Morgan's has come in. Taylor's got that Kit Kat Chevrolet down to the attention of his pit crew. It's going to be a 4-tire pit stop for the Kit Kat Chevrolet. His right side tires are on and complete. Those swing over to the left sides. You look out the front of that 36. He has that open stall ahead of him, so he's going to have a clear shot out exiting pit road. 4-tire work is complete. The 36 of Taylor Morgan's, no, he's good on fresh tires. He's down and away, as is the 31 of Justice there, Todd.
Yeah, 20 is also down and away. The champ, David Schildhaus. He took 4 fresh tires. He's down and away. He's going to join with Taylor Morgan's in the 36 and the 31 of Derek Justice. These guys taking it rather easy off of pit road, and I can imagine how treacherous it is right now for these guys on those cold tires. They don't want to spin out, and that's how come they're going awful slow at the exit of this pit road.
That's very slick getting out of there. Kevin McAdams just come to pit road in the 26. He's got 4 tires on his Chevrolet. Looking to have a great run here tonight. The 26 car, he's down and away. He'll rejoin the race there. And as you said, taking it really gingerly through turns number 1 and 2 on the apron. It is a very slick surface when you get down to that flat and get up to that banking.
Yeah, definitely a real slick service, and even coming down on the pit road, it's slick also, especially on worn tires. As we're watching Colin Keister come back up on the track. You got the 30 of Corey Carpenter coming back up on the track now. I believe there's a couple other guys down here on pit road, Justin Malello, Jason Justice. Those guys taking 4 tires and getting ready to come out. Is Jason Justice now down and away. A little bit lengthier pit stop than I thought he was going to have there. He sat there for a couple minutes, maybe a little bit of damage to that 16 of Jason Justice, but he's going to join the field here, now going off of pit road and going to join on the back straightaway here in that number 16 Bud Light Ford Fusion.
Yeah, I believe that's going to put the entire cycle amongst our leaders here through a round of green flag pit stops, working lap number 66. Now what I want to see is timing and scoring is going to catch up for us. I want to see how these guys that have just come to pit road stack up between the guys who may have short pitted in the middle of this run about 15 laps ago. That's the likes of Matt Vassar, Maverick Morrow, Chris Wetz, Blake McCandless. And if you look at the leaderboard, Todd, that's your current top 4. So those guys coming in and taking tires, short-term gain. We have about 13 laps to go in the stage. Is that the right call to maybe pick up one of these precious stage wins?
Again, the short pitting is it looks like it's going to work maybe in their favor. And 83 through the grass again, Phil. So Noah Hart around again here on the front straightaway. Not sure what happened to him, but he, again, the third time around for the 83 of Noah Hart. It looks like the 31 of Derek Justice got a penalty also on pit road. That's not what he wants to do in that number 31 machine. We've seen that cost him a championship, the 31, and it's starting to rear its head up again. Another costly penalty for Derek Justice.
And unfortunately for Derek, if you know Derek, you race with Derek on almost a nightly basis, like I know a lot of us do. It's starting to become a nightly occurrence, is him making a green flag pit stop and eventually getting busted for one of those pit road speeding penalties. So we'll have to update the likes of the 31, how that's going to shake out. Currently now the first car 1 lap down, but saddled all the way back in the 17th position. Now if we're talking about championship implications, sure, we have 2 more races after tonight at the Charlotte Speedway, but 17th, 1 lap down. We still got a lot of racing left to go, so obviously you can make that up, but it just shows you, Todd, pit road is a place you can't afford to make a mistake, and it looks like the 31 once again has reached up and crept him, and he's going to be mired way back deep in the field. It's a tough break.
Many races are won and lost on pit road there, Phil, and that's just something that he's got to practice on. But I think the number 83 finally parking it behind the wall. Noah Hart retired from this event. I believe some kind of damage to the 83 machine was correct, making him go around there. That's a tough break for Noah Hart. He's going to finish up in that 20th position in that number 83 machine. Not the showing he wanted here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
No, not at all. I mean, you always want to get your name on TV. You always want to get your car on TV, talk about you, be a story. But not the way you want to do that. Noah going through the grass 3 different times on the exit of pit road. So tough break for the 83. He's going to join Philip Kraus behind the wall. Noah Hart going to finish up tonight in the 20th position as 71 laps already on the board, so under 10 laps remaining in stage number 2. And we look up front, we found a new race leader in the likes of Maverick Morrow in the 57. We haven't talked a whole lot about Maverick through these first 3 races of this playoff, that he's been a contender up front, but he's consistent. He is solid, and once again, the Oreo Chevrolet has found his way up near the front, and he's our current race leader off of turn 4.
Yeah, he's been methodically positioning himself here throughout the playoffs, and he's doing it once again. The number 57 machine is Maverick Morrow, and he hasn't won a race here in the playoffs, but it's helped him out throughout the playoffs. He's one of those guys that got in on points here this last go around, as we have a side-by-side battle, I believe, for that second spot. It looks like Wetz is going to be able to get around the number 17 of Matt Vassar. Taylor Morgan, I tell you what, is coming like a man on the mission. The number 36 machine. He's lightning quick here with those new tires, and these guys it's not going to take them long. And Taylor Morgan's going to run down this top 3.
Oh, absolutely. He keeps cutting that interval down. It was over 4 seconds. Well, now it's down to 3.6 seconds last time around, and it is closing. He's going to be cutting that down to precious car lengths between himself and our current third-place runner, Matt Vassar. It was 1.2 seconds last time around. It's going to be well under 1 second when they come back to the start-finish line. He's probably run down a good 15 car lengths just down the backstretch, turn number 3 and 4. So it was 3.6 behind the race leader. Let's see where it updates here when he hits start-finish line. Down to 3.2, so he's picking up almost over 0.4 of a second a lap. He's going to be running down those guys running second and third in no time, and it may be not too long before he chases down Maverick. But the question is, Todd, with now less than 5 laps to go, does that 36 have enough time to run the 57 down and pick up the victory here in stage 2?
I don't think he's going to be able to get around the 57, but I think he can get around second and third. Matt Vassar, no easy guy to get around in the NASCAR 2003 community. He's been that way for many, many years. As far back as I can know, Matt Vassar knows how to stick to his groove, but now here comes Taylor Morgan's really quick around Matt Vassar, so he gets around Vassar, now sets the sight on Wetz. I believe he's going to get up to second. I don't think he has enough time to catch Maverick Morrow, but I could be wrong.
It looks like Matt's got one of those late models out there against one of these big horsepower NASCAR-type stock cars, and that's exactly what the 36 looks like coming off of turn number 4. He's going to go to the low side. He'll make way around the 71 of Chris Wetz, so move that Kit Kat Chevrolet up to that second spot. It is down under 2 seconds, but if you look at the leaderboard, 77 laps up on the board, so about 2.5 circuits left to go. Can he run Maverick Morrow down by 2 seconds? Maverick is in the middle of 3 and 4. Taylor just entering that corner. It's down to about 20 car lengths and closing out the exit turn 4.
Yeah, it was 1.958. Let's see what this time the interval is. It is down to 1.439. So half a second ticked off the clock. At that rate, he might be able to get up to the back bumper of Maverick Morrow. Don't know if he's going to have enough time. Now is Kevin McAdams lurking right there too. He wants a stage win also.
Yeah, stage wins is what everybody wants. Playoff points is what you want. This updating some of the guys who may have taken that gamble on short pitting. Well, we look back, we find our buddy Blake McCandless in the 74 clinging to that 10th position. He may not be able to steal one of those stage points there. He was one of those guys that short pitted, playing the tire strategy, and he's going to fall by the way of the 9 of Brandon Lawson. So short pitting not working out there. The question is, will it work for Maverick Morrow? I believe one more lap here left to go. Stage white off of turn 4 this time. It's down to 5 car lengths. I think we're going to have a battle here for this stage win.
Yeah, stage white for the 57 of Maverick Morrow. Can he hold on? Those guys battling pretty hot and heavy. That's what Maverick Morrow wants to look up in his mirror and see down the front chute here, down into turn number 1. Morrow has a 0.283 second advantage. It's down to nothing. They're up to his rear bumper. They can go around the outside. Is Maverick Morrow going to be able to hold them off here? Kevin McAdams goes up and helps him. Taylor Morgan's on the top side of the speedway. Remember, Morgan's has a fresh tire on that number 36 machine. They're going to make short work of Maverick Morrow. And it looks like going to pick up the stage win. It's going to be the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. Second is going to be Kevin McAdams. Maverick Morrow going to be third. Fourth is going to be Colin Keister. David Shellhouse fifth. Schwartz finishes up 6th. 7th is Wetz. 8th is the 30 of Corey Carpenter. 9th is 17 of Matt Vassar. And 10th is Brandon Lawson. That was a shake-up there for stage number 2. So stage number 2 winner, Taylor Morgan's in the Kit Kat number 36 machine.
Yeah, we know they got a little bit fresher tire than the likes of, say, Maverick Morrow, say even I believe that 67 of Wetz out there also, the 67 of Schwartz, the 71 of Chris Wetz. Those guys still on the same strategy. You got to think those guys probably pitted about on lap number 60 is going to be my guess, somewhere around that mark. So you got to think there by taking that gamble, these guys may be about a half dozen laps or so away from having to come in and pit again, but you know, that's okay in this stage. 87 laps, it's a long race out here. We haven't, barely eclipsed the halfway mark. We're still shy of the halfway here. Almost 200 kilometers home in the Charlotte, Canadian 400 KA here tonight at the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway. And so far, we've seen some good racing, some different strategies playing out. And, we got a good race going on amongst our top 5. Taylor Morgans has the race lead, but Kevin McAdams is certainly very game to the challenge. Those guys riding around in the tire tracks, only be a matter of time before that 26 maybe pulls out and tries to make a move for the lead.
Yeah, the 26 of Kevin McAdams over the number 36 of Taylor Morgans. Now Kevin McAdams to lead in the number 26 machine. The 36 of Taylor Morgans running in that second spot. 3rd is Colin Keister. 4th is David Schildhaus. 5th is Maverick Morrow. Schwartz is running in that 6th spot. 7th, Corey Carpenter. 8th is the number 9 of Brandon Lawson. Justin Malolo is running 9th. 10th is the 92 of Matt Durr. 11th is Jason Justice in the number 16 machine. The 71 of Wetz is running 12th. 13th to 31 of Derek Justice. 14th to 76 of Noah Carmichael. Is now Wetz going a lap down here, so I believe that's going to switch some things up. Maybe he's down on pit road. Robert Balcom running 15th. 16th is Matt Vassar. Blake McCandless is 17th. 18th is the number 0 of Ruth. DJ Curtis in the 54. He's running 19th. And out of this event, Noah Hart and Philip Kraus.
Full Field Rundown sponsored by your friends at the Full Velocity Network. Find us at fullvelocitynetwork.com. Book your date now. Dates filling up fast, and we would love to showcase all the great racing got going on. NR 2003, iRacing, whatever it is. We're, of course, here in NR 2003 tonight. Tomorrow night, back on the air with the iRacing community over at our friends at the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. So we'll be back there in the super late models tomorrow night at Richmond. But we're halfway home here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Kevin McAdams, your current race leader, over Taylor Morgans. It is stretched out now to about 2 or 3 car lengths. It's a big gap between them and 3rd place running David Schildhaus. We saw that top 5 strung right together, but Schildhaus has kind of fallen off the pace now, currently 3rd.
Yeah, Schildhaus is only 1.178 seconds back of those top 2 guys, but just maybe conserving his tires. Colin Keister all over the rear bumper of the 20 of David Schildhaus. Down the back straightaway here into turn 3. Schildhaus running the top groove almost up near the wall, where the 14 of Colin Keister able to roll down to the bottom side and able to hold on to the bottom more than the number 20 of David Schildhaus. But that might be a tire strategy, a tire saving technique there for Schildhaus. Schildhaus still running in that 3rd spot. 4th is Colin Keister. So those guys they've kind of looked at one another. They've peaked to take over that spot, or Colin Keister has peaked to take over the spot from the number 20 of David Schildhaus, but not able to pull it off yet.
Now, and I'm just looking, trying to find a race for position or an interesting story on the racetrack, and I'm just not finding one. These guys all logging laps, mainly all single file. I think the best race on the racetrack where we can highlight is probably that race for 3rd. Between the 20 of Schildhaus, the 14 of Colin Keister. Those guys riding single file. Schildhaus now will drift to the outside of the racetrack. Keister will run down to the low side. Lap traffic up ahead approaching. We've seen a couple of cars on and off the pit road. The 57 of Morrow, the 17 of Vassar, the 67 of Schwartz, the 74 of McCandless. I mean, tell me if you heard this story before. Those guys all elected to pit early there in stage 2. They have now all had to come to pit road. The service for all those vehicles is done, but then they find themselves gambling on a yellow flag not coming out, because they all find themselves 1 lap down to the field and all the way up into the top 10, Todd. 10 drivers left on the lead lap, so these guys certainly putting on a great pace out here at Charlotte tonight through lap number 90 and just still peaking out. And the best racer on that racetrack is for that 3rd spot, but those guys are mired deep into lap traffic.
Yeah, definitely mired deep into lap traffic. The zero of Ruth right now. Noah Carmichael 14 of Colin Keister uses the 76 of Noah Carmichael as a pick. Oh, slides way up in front of David Schildhouse, the number 20 machine. But Noah Carmichael was used as a pick perfectly by Colin Keister. But here comes David Schildhouse. He's trying to get underneath Noah Carmichael. He's not going to challenge the 14 of Colin Keister. He realizes he's just a little bit faster at this given time. So he lets the 14 of Colin Keister go by. Like I said, he's in third. He's about 2 or 3 car lengths in front of David Schildhouse at number 20 now.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking it back to that move as Todd called out, so brilliantly there, that just brilliant move by the 14 of Colin Keister there, Joe. Using Noah Carmichael as a pick and picking up that position from a 20 of David Schildhouse. Now, you're a guy who knows David real well. You guys have been friends, kind of, quasi-teammates, if you can say, between you and David. Get that West Coast connection. What do you think he's feeling from a driver's perspective there in the cockpit, knowing he just kind of got used up there in a pick scenario? Do you get a little bit hot under the collar, or is that just good racing? You go on and laugh, tip your hat, and say, man, Colin, that was a good move.
Oh, that's good racing. It's hard competitive racing between him and Colin, and I'm sure if roles were reversed there and it were David Schildhouse doing the move, he probably would have done the same thing. I mean, that's just that's hard racing out on the racetrack. You don't get mad at a guy for doing something like that, because that if it were you, you'd probably do the same thing. If it were me, I would have done the same thing. I mean, you do whatever you can to catapult yourself into that next position and put yourself into a better spot than where you may have been, or where you may have been the lap before, possibly. So he'll put that in the memory bank and tip his cap to him. And Colin knows that, given the opportunity, if David Schildhouse can do the same thing, he's probably going to do the same thing back. So, but as far as getting your feathers all ruffled and getting your panties in a bunch, it's one thing to blatantly do something that's just ridiculously dumb and stupid, and another thing to just pull off a good racing move and utilize somebody else on the racetrack to benefit yourself. And that's what we saw there. So I don't think Schildhouse is too mad about anything that happened on the racetrack there.
I have to agree with you, Joe. I don't think he's that mad. It's part of racing. People get used as picks all the time. I've done it in dirt racing, even myself on the local dirt track, is use somebody as a pick and be able to get around somebody and lap traffic. It makes it that much easier, and it's actually a lot of fun. But the 36 Taylor Morgans did make some good runs there at the 26 of Kevin McAdams. He was able to peek out and try to get around McAdams, and McAdams slammed the door. But guess what? 36 Taylor Morgan is down on pit road, along with the 31 of Derek Justice, who was on the tail. The tail end of the lead lap.
I was clinging to that tail end of the lead lap, as you said. The 36 of Taylor Morgan's comes to pit road. Looks like it's going to be a 4-tire call for service there. Right side tires going on. They're going to swing to the left, so a 4-tire pit stop here. Also 4 tires for the 31 of Derek Justice as well. I got to think it's not going to be too long there, Todd, before we see the likes of the race leader, Kevin McAdams, the 14 of Colin Keister. I believe the race leader has found his way to pit road.
Yeah, trying to find the race leader here as I lost him here in the shuffle. The 26 of Kevin McAdams down on pit road. Service starting on his car, right side tires up in the air for Kevin McAdams. Looks like they're going to complete the service on the right side. They're going to go over to the left side. 4 tires is going to be the call here for the 26 of Kevin McAdams. They're finishing up service on the left side. They're down and away.
I got the number 14 of Colin Keister. He's also going to bring his Chevrolet down to the attention of his pit crew, all the way down to the far end of pit road. He's got 4 tires on that machine. His service is all done. Colin Keister going to rejoin the race down in turns number 1 and 2.
Corey Carpenter in the number 30 machine. His service is all complete. He's back out on the Speedway, still running pretty stout there for the damage that he had early on in the going. Also the 92 Matt Durr, his service is complete. And the number 0 of Ruth back down on pit road. He's been 2 laps down, but he's able to get more service to that number 0 Flex Seal sponsor machine. He's down and away.
The Bud Light Ford, number 16 of Jason Justice, has found his way toward pit road. Right side tires complete on that blue number 16 Bud Light Ford. Left side tires going on. Left sides are down, hitting the gas, getting it full of fuel. 16 Jason Justice. He'll rejoin the race. He was currently in that second spot. We'll see where he shakes out.
Leader Justin Malello comes down onto pit road. He relinquishes the lead, I believe, to that's going to be to the number 17 of Matt Vassar. Right side tires have been completed. Now going over to the left side, the 53 of Justin Malello. He's down and away.
All right, so I believe that's going to, finish up this round of green flag pit stops here. We'll have to see how this recycles, and just how we left the last one. Those guys on a different tire strategy. Well, we find Matt Vassar back to the race lead with Maverick Morrow, Andrew Schwartz, Chris Wetz, and David Schildhouse has, won that race off of pit road amongst that most recent group that has come in. 5.3 seconds off the race lead. We'll have to see if he can cut that interval down, because he's going to have probably about 15 lap fresher tires than these guys out there in front of him. And as we say that, it's down to 4.6, so he's already cut a half second off. It just shows how much of a critical key here fresh tires versus these old tires are playing out at Charlotte, which I don't think anybody who knows anything about this racetrack, no surprise whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely no surprise whatsoever here on the tire strategy calls. And what's going on here, Phil, is these guys tried to short pit for that stage win and try to get some of them stage points on the line. And now they've kind of made their bet. If this stays green flag the rest of the way, they're kind of stuck into that situation. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Derek Justice here caught the 17 of Matt Vassar rather quick. He's going to make short work of him. He's on fresher tires. He's going to be able to get his lap back once again, so he's going to be on the tail end of the lead lap in that number 31 machine in that 16th spot. So it's been a tough break for Derek Justice, like we said. Speeding or one of those other penalties down on pit road, that was costly for that number 31 machine. But Matt Vassar continues to hold on. But David Schildhouse right now has cut it down to 2.933 to himself and the leader, Matt Vassar. So Schildhouse is coming, and he's on fire.
No, he certainly is. And you look at the leaderboard, about 65 laps to go. So now the question starts to run backwards. Those guys who probably came out the pit road about 5 laps ago, is there any possible scenario from here where these guys can save their tires, manage their fuel, and maybe make this race on one more stop? You think about it. If you go about 30 to 32 laps, you can stretch that out to about 64. So we look up on the board, about 64, 66 laps to go. Can these guys that have just come to pit road, like a Schildhouse, like a Morgans, all those guys, can they save enough time on this run and maybe possibly make this one more stop?
I think it's going to be a gamble. It's going to be real close for some of those guys, but some of those guys I think can make it. Maybe guys like Derek Justice in the 31 on one more pit stop, or even for that matter, the 20 of David Schildhouse. Those guys know how to save that fuel. The guys that are on that short pit strategy probably not going to be able to do it, but the guys that just recently pitted, I believe they got a shot. Do they want to gamble? That's the thing.
Well, if you think about it over the course of a long run, and I'll ask Joe the same question. If you've gone that strategy of coming in, around lap 30 versus opposed to somebody that comes in on, say, lap 35, you break that up a little bit. Guys who maybe run that extra 5 laps out there, they can almost cut off one complete pit stop out of their work here tonight. That could be the difference between rolling a dice and maybe winning a race here tonight and advancing on to the SRA round of 8 here in 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's a lot of different factors that go into what exactly is going on in the racetrack. You have to factor in lap traffic. You have to factor in how the cautions are going to fall. If this thing stays green to the end of the race, it's a great call. If it doesn't stay green to the end of the race, it could be a very costly call, and that's really going to determine whose strategy is going to be the best strategy tonight. And I think navigating through lap traffic is going to be the biggest one. You're going to have tires that are a lot faster than other guys as we're following David Schildhouse. You can see how some of these guys with the better tires just roll the center a lot better than guys with older tires. So you have to be really cautious when you're maneuvering yourself through traffic to avoid getting yourself into trouble and putting yourself into a bad situation in a bad spot. And to expand even further on that, you also have to you have to be smooth on pit road. We saw a guy who was running in the top 5, the top 3 almost all evening, that being Derek Justice, and he got a speeding penalty down on pit road. So eliminating that need for that one extra stop is certainly going to help alleviate the risk of potentially going down and getting yourself a speeding penalty on pit road, or maybe an unsafe entry, unsafe exit. So that's another thing that you want to look towards as far as who's going to be on the better strategy as these laps continue to wind down.
Yeah, but we talk about the strategy, but I want to highlight, our current race leader, the Amazon Ford, the champ, David Schildhouse. Look at the interval between himself and, say, the legs of Taylor Morgenstad. It's a full second and a half, and he's got 3 very capable cars in between him, of that being Maverick, Andrew Schwartz, Matt Vassar. So if Taylor is going to run that interval down, he still has good race cars here he has to pass. Yes, he's on better tires, so that's going to be an advantage to him as well, but it just shows you that the incredible pit stop that the 20 just had.
Yeah, he had a good pit stop. The 20 of David Schildhouse did, and he's out there out front. As Matt Vassar coming down the pit road, he's had enough. He's been out there long enough in that 17. He's going to go get fresh tires on the number 17 machine. So He's pitting out of that 4th spot, so he knew as soon as he got past, he was going to have to go down pit road. But David Schilloff's doing one whale of a job up there. Taylor Morgan's, like you said, he's trying to close that gap in that 36 machine, but I'm not sure he can close it as fast as he was maybe on that number 20 machine.
Well, we'll have to see. He said he's made his way around a couple of cars there. Vassar had come to pit road past the Chris Wetz machine. There he is, Andrew Swartz, Maverick Morrow up ahead. Of course, those fresher tires are going to help, but you got to think he's going to make short work of them when he gets there, but he's still got car lengths between himself and the race leader to make up those 2-lap cars. And Schildhaus out there just kind of being able to run his own line. He's able to stretch that out to 2.2 seconds. So the 20 starting to pull away a little bit, that could be the difference between him going out there and running, or is the 36 maybe back there clutching a little bit and maybe saving that fuel, thinking about possibly trying to make this on that one more stop.
Yeah, he might be trying to make it one more stop there in that number 36 machine, like you said, Phil. He may be out back there clutching it or trying to roll out the throttle just a little bit more, trying not to pick up the gas, trying to save a little bit of fuel to make it the rest of the distance here. We're going to have to wait and see what Taylor Morgan's actual strategy is, but I could see him saving this fuel as he's 2.4 seconds back there last time by, now 2.9 seconds behind, but he was also battling with some of those guys behind him, but now David Schilloff's trying to ride away off into the sunset. He won the first race of the first round there, Phil, and he didn't have to worry about anything. He could make any kind of strategy calls the next time. He knew he was already in the next round. That's kind of what he wants to go out and do this round. Win this race. You don't have to worry about much the next couple of races.
No, you certainly don't. But a guy who's trying to race his way into that SRA round of 8 in a couple of weeks. The 67 of Andrew Swartz had just come to pit road. He took 4 tires and in machine. The 67 coming in tonight, 10th in the point standings, 4 points behind the current cutoff line coming into the evening, which is currently occupied by the 16 of Jason Justice. So the 67 coming in on a different strategy than these guys. They came in early, took those tires. He's going to feel like Superman out there now. Those guys came in about 10 or 12 laps ago. They burned a little bit of heat, a little bit of goodie off of their tire, and these guys that have just come to pit road, they're going to almost be like Superman out there, and we'll have to see how that 67, especially the 17, how those guys shake out. Also, the 57 of Mora has also come in.
Yeah, 57 of Mora also came down to pit road. 4 seconds between himself, the 36, and per se the leader right now of David Schilloff, and guess what? Taylor Morgan's, I hate to give it away. He's clutching through the corners, clutching down the front straightaway. So isn't Kevin McAdams, that 26 machine. So they're on a fuel-saving strategy there, Phil. They are going to try to make it that extra distance there. They're going to try to make it those 2 extra laps or 3 extra laps that they normally want to get on a field run.
Well, I think the key word there is clutch, and that's something we're going to, transition into right now. I mean, they're out there clutching, saving fuel. You got to be clutch to come up with a big spot, a big pit stop to win one of these things. And Joe Allen, you got to be clutch, unlike our Dallas Cowboys this afternoon. But it is time for our weekly full velocity picks here from the booth. Who is going to go to victory lane, Joe? I'm going to put you on the spot. Let you go first. Who's going to win this thing?
We've had a lot of guys that have been running up towards the front all night. A lot of different mixed pit strategies. So what better time than now to do these picks, because you never know if a caution's going to foil these guys' plans, or who knows, maybe they stay out just long enough and save just enough to make it to the end. I can't deny a guy like Kevin McAdams. He just seems to be a guy that always puts himself in position to win a race at the end of these things. He usually hits the strategy just right. I don't know if he's saving as well as the other guys, because he just drove around the 36 of Taylor Morgan's, but I'm going to go with my gut. He's been fast all night, so I think that 26 machine is going to find his way to victory lane by the end of this thing.
Well, that's the pick from Joe Allen. Todd, I'm not sure if between you and myself, I know you've got the running tally of who's supposed to pick where, so is it you or is it me going first this week?
I'll leave it out to you this time, Phil. I believe I did the best the last time.
All right, well, let's see if I get to make my pick here. Joe taking a good pick there with McAdams. I'm going to go the guy we talked about going out there doing the clutching. I think he's got the clutch scenario to work. Car definitely makes me hungry looking at that Kit Kat sponsorship. I'm going to take the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. I like what he's doing there. I was present to a Charlotte race, with this same scenario one night ago with a big, long green flag run like we're having now and maybe eliminating one entire pit stop off of a run. I think Taylor Morgans is going to be the guy on the money there. He's going to save his fuel right. If this thing stays green, I think the 36 of Taylor Morgans goes to victory lane.
Two really, really good picks from you guys, and you guys kind of left the champ out of there, and I'm gonna have to pick him because every time I've picked him, no black cloud happens with him. So we're gonna go with David Schildhaus in that number 20 machine. Yeah, he's run out there pretty quickly, but I think he knows what he's doing in that number 20 machine. He isn't the champ for no reason.
He is not the champ for no reason at all. So I think I like those picks. Todd taking David Schildhaus. I'll take Taylor Morgans, and Joe clocking in from the booth with Kevin McAdams, who is currently second. So all three of our drivers currently running amongst the top four. I'm going to throw the challenge out there to the YouTube chat box. I know you guys are out there watching out here tonight. I know you've kept up on the action. You've got the live ticker in front of you, updating the standings every lap. So, guys out there in the YouTube chat box, I want to know what your prediction is going to be. Who is going to go to victory lane? Who is going to be the winner of the Canadian 400K? From the Charlotte Motor Speedway here, having our fun with a little bit of our friends from Canada here tonight. So, we'll see what happens here. But I believe, Todd, we have a developing situation. Is there a yellow flag out on the Speedway? Yellow flag is out.
I'm not sure. It looks like they're wicked slow out there on the Speedway. So I'm pretty sure there is a yellow flag. There's a wreck on the front straightaway, is what the admin is. It's been confirmed. This is a yellow flag. So.
Yellow flag on the Speedway. Wreck out on the racetrack. I'm trying to go back and find it myself. I saw smoke down the front stretch. I was, following race leader action down the back straightaway. So I don't know if I'll find it. I'm not sure if Todd's got the peek at it. So Joe, with the benefit of all the cameras, the great looks, as he always does here with a phenomenal job on FEN week after week, I think he's going to have the first look at this replay. And I'm not going to steal any of his thunder this week, but definitely something going amiss down the front stretch. Smoke billowing out one of those race cars. Saw a big old dust trail down there, and definitely something going amiss and going to put us under caution flag for only the second time tonight now, working lap number 120.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out myself. Look at that. Joe has it. I could not find it, Phil. I really couldn't. For the life of me, I looked up and down to see what happened out there. Joe has it. Do you have it queued up and ready for us, Joe, to show us what happened so maybe I can be clued in too? Here we go, Joe.
All right, thank you guys. This is a little bit of a challenge to find. When I saw the smoke, I had to cue it back quite a bit to actually find it. But as you can see on screen, I see 3 FTF green spoilers, which means we got 3 cars right around the accident that are all contending for a spot in the Sim Racing Association round of 8. So we're going to focus primarily on the 16 of Jason Justice, and that again is the 30 of Corey Carpenter. He just seems to be having some horrible luck here tonight, guys. So coming down off the corner, Maverick all the way down on the bottom. Jason's moving up to try and give him a little bit of space, it looks like, and I don't know if he just forgot Corey was up there, or really there wasn't anywhere Corey could have gone. He was already up by the wall, and those two make contact. Spin Jason down the front straightaway. Corey Carpenter making more contact with the outside wall there in his car. He's already been banged up once tonight, so this certainly isn't helping his cause as they spin down the front straightaway. There you see, I believe that's Chris Wetz in the 71. That's another FTF playoff contender there. He takes a shortcut through the grass, mows it down just a little bit. Thank goodness that the splitters aren't tore up here going through the grass. That would have been devastating for the 71, but it looks like he gets by. So I'm only seeing 2 cars. I don't think Jason gets any other contact. Yeah, it looks like he gets his car spun back around here. No other contact with any other cars coming up from behind him. But guys, that was Maverick very lucky to get around that wreck without any damage, but a tough break for both Jason and Corey. Those guys most likely getting some damage, and this is certainly going to shake things up in the standings with the different strategies that we had as far as fuel-wise goes. I don't know that any of these guys are going to be able to make it on one more stop anymore. This is most likely going to turn into a 2-stop race for the majority of our leaders out there. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, they come in right now. They're going to have to make at least one more pit stop. So good work as always, Joe Allen. It took me till about halfway through that replay to go back and find my own. So as always, fantastic job down there. Tough break for the likes of Corey Carpenter there, Todd. He's currently 9th in the standings, 4 points outside that cutoff line. And who is he racing in that cutoff line that currently occupies it? Well, that's the 16 of Jason Justice. So championship implications there. Those guys trying to jockey for position, get the best finish they can do. And those cars look to be a little bit banged up. The 30 has already been involved tonight. I mean, as Joe said, that can't help his cause in that Chevrolet anymore.
Yeah, definitely can't help his cause, and that's something that Corey Carpenter doesn't want to see. I know he doesn't want to be that close to that cutoff line. He's been pretty consistent here through this series, just logging himself up there in the top 10, top 5. He's been up there and getting into those playoff scenarios, the playoff point scenarios, and trying to get up in there. He's been pretty consistent through the FTF playoffs so far. So we're gonna have to wait and see how much this is gonna hamper his run at this. To the round of 8 here, the Sim Racing Association round of 8. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen here through the next couple of races. Again, we have 2 more races left in this round, and the last one being Talladega. So that's going to be a game changer in itself.
Oh, if you can pick a better racetrack to have an elimination, you go out to Talladega. You know, a racetrack that truly anything can happen. You know, the restrictor plates are definitely the great equalizer. It's, you know, super speedway racing brings out the best in all of them, and it definitely is a wild card. Anybody out there in the field can maybe go out there and claim a checkered flag. So going to be a lot of championship stuff happening there at Talladega. I can't wait to see where that's going to take us in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be an awesome time. So can't wait to see what's going to happen here. But looking at these guys out on the racetrack, just trying to sort out where maybe our lucky dog cars may have been wave around cars. I see the 67 of Andrew Swartz, the 71 of Chris Wetz, and the 74 of Blake McCandless all getting back to the lead lap. So that's going to bring 13 drivers, or 13 drivers back to the lead lap. So we have 19 left on the racetrack, 13 on the lead lap, and going to have a couple of guys out there. I'm going to be on a little bit more worn tire than others, but these guys all still have to come to pit road at least one more time before we get this thing over with.
Yeah, they're going to at least have to come to pit road at least one more time and maybe cut that run in half. I don't know. That short pitting scenario, I'm not sure how much I would like that short pitting scenario right now. Is getting that close to the end here, and those playoff implications are going to come even closer as we're about 42 laps from the end of this race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We're going to repack the field here. Coming out of turn number 4, it's going to be David Schillhouse, Colin Keister, your front row. Taylor Morgans, Kevin McAdams, 3rd and 4th. 5th and 6th is Brandon Lawson and Corey Carpenter. Just waiting on that flagger to throw the green flag once again. Looks like the green flag is in the air once again. Schildhouse out to a good advantage there. It looked like Keister may have burnt his tires up just a little bit, maybe spun him in that 14 machine, but he's able to gather that thing back up really quick there, up to the rear bumper once again. The 20 of David Schildhouse. Schildhouse just up the track just a little bit. Colin Keister right there knocking at his door.
Yeah, right there on his door, as you said, and have to see if Colin maybe makes a run to the low side into turn 3. Doesn't quite do it this time. Now he'll swing off the low side off of turn number 4. We get a race for the race lead. The 14 down low under the 20, side by side for the lead at the line.
Side by side for the lead at the line. Is still David Schillhouse was with the lead. Now Colin Keister completes the pass, going down into turn number 1. Put Colin Keister in that number 14 amp sponsor machine to the lead. David Schillhouse back to the 2nd spot. Meanwhile, 3rd position is the 26 of Kevin McAdams. He's going to try to run down the number 20 of David Schillhouse. The 36 of Taylor Morgan's right there running in that 4th spot.
Now Morgan's right there in the 4th spot. I keep thinking he was going to peak to the low side, maybe make the run on the 26. He had pulled right up to the back bumper like he was, going to present himself ready to pass off of turn number 4, but he'll fall back in line. That's going to bring the likes of Corey Carpenter back into the fray here. So we're going to have a good 3-car race off of turn 2 for the race lead. Also starting to stack up once again up front for the race lead.
Yeah, starting to stack back up for the race lead once again there. Not able to pull off anything is the number 20 of Schildhouse. Schildhouse still about 2.5, 3-car lengths behind the 14 of Colin Keister. Meanwhile, Corey Carpenter right there in the fray. With that damage, it doesn't seem to bother him that much. He's inside the top 5 in that number 30 machine. Look at Brandon Lawson. Lawson up to that 6th spot. Corey Carpenter starting to go on the fritz. The aliens want him in the number 30 machine.
And the aliens trying to abduct him. Corey fighting those aliens back. He'll keep the Sunoco Chevrolet on the racetrack, but that checked up the 9 of Brandon Lawson just a little bit. That allowed the 53 of Justin Malello to make the run to the low side. Justin now going to make his way up to that 6th position. So, Justin, one of those guys who experienced a heartbreak last week of being eliminated at the SMS round of 16, did not advance into this scenario of the playoffs, but having a terrific run inside the top 6, and he may make a run here down the backstretch at that 30. So the 53 looking to have a good, solid top 5 effort here tonight.
Taylor Morgan's, I'm telling you, he's looking in his rearview mirror. He don't want no piece of that 30 of Corey Carpenter. He gets around Kevin McAdams here. He goes, hey, you deal with him. He's behind you now. I don't have to deal with him as much. Now put Taylor Morgan to that 3rd spot. Kevin McAdams back to 4th. And now the 30 Corey Carpenter still running in that 5th spot there. And it looks like it's to calm down. Maybe the aliens have left Corey alone. Poor Corey has had a rough night as it was, and I was just hoping that wouldn't happen to him.
Oh, absolutely right. Looking further back outside the top 5, I see one car starting to move his way on through, and that's the pride of us, Southington, Connecticut. That number 17, Western Auto Ford of Matt Vassar. He's now picked off a couple of positions. He's moved his way around the number 9 of Brandon Lawson. Matt Vassar is back on the move, Todd. He's up to P7. He is all over the back bumper of that 53 of Malello. That 17 of Matt Vassar starting to peek his way back forward once again. That is no surprise whatsoever.
Vassar down to the bottom side. He's making a side-by-side battle with the 53 of Justin Malello. Malello up on the top shelf of the Speedway, able to hold him off here at the exit of the corner. Matt Vassar running on the bottom side, which I think is the preferred groove as of right now. Vassar now down to the inside, down into turn number 1, as Malello tries to pass the 30 of Corey Carpenter on the top side. So offense and defense for the 53 machine, none of which the Giants have.
Oh, I'm not even sure how to follow that one. That is spoken like a Western New York guy right there. A little bit of jab at the big city out there, but we'll leave that one alone because I don't know if I can really afford to talk football today. Let's just keep it on racing here tonight. A lot less depressing for, I think, Justin and myself, and probably for Joe for that matter, even Todd today for that matter. I don't think any of us have anything to smile about at all. So let's focus back out on the racetrack. Colin Keister now, Todd, has found his way to the race lead on the 14. David Schildhouse currently 2nd. Taylor Morgan's 3rd. Kevin McAdams has dropped to 4th, and Corey Carpenter at number 30. He's somehow clinging on to a strong top 5 advantage. 6th is Justin Malello. 7th, Matt Vassar. 8th is Brandon Lawson. Jason Justice is 9th. Matt Durr is solidly having a good night. He is currently 10th. 11th is Chris Wetz. Andrew Swartz is 12th. Blake McCandless is 13th. He's the last car on the lead lap. 14th, 1 lap down, we find Derek Justice. Noah Carmichael is 15th. Maverick Morrow deep in the field. 16th position, 1 lap down in the 57. Robert Balcom also 1 lap down. He's out there in the Sonny Tolmano number 47 here tonight. Alex Ruth is 18th. He is 2 laps down. DJ Curtis is on the racetrack also. 19th. He is also 2 laps down. 2 cars out of the event. Noah Hart and Philip Kraus there behind the wall. Full field rundown sponsored by the Full Velocity Network. Find us at fullvelocitynetwork.com. But Todd, looking back up to the front of this field, have a good race going on for that lead between Keister, David Schildhouse, and it looks like you look out there, you can put 5, maybe 6 cars under a blanket right now. This is a really awesome race, and as we get now under 30 laps to go, it's going to shape up to be one barn burner of a finish.
Yeah, definitely going to shape up to be a finish here that is probably going to be remembered for the ages here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Is the 20 of David Schildhouse able to get around the 14 of Colin Keister. As we were talking, he made himself back to the lead. Taylor Morgan, though, as those two were battling, was able to reel those guys in. Same way with the 26 of Kevin McAdams. As those guys all pull up to one another here. Corey Carpenter starting to fade back just a little bit, but still hanging on the top 5 finish. But here comes the number 36 of Taylor Morgan's down to the bottom side. Not going to be able to pull off a pass yet. Morgan's not challenging the 14 of Colin Keister yet. The number 20 of David Schildhouse still leading this event in the number 20.
Got Schildhouse now back to the lead of that number 20. Just looking back to the back half of the top 5, look in the 4th spot. You see Kevin McAdams, usually a guy who's out there racing for the lead, out there, strutting his stuff. But these guys have one more pit stop left to make. How much is he maybe saving a little bit? Just as we say that, good race for 2nd between Morgans and Colin Keister. Almost contact made there. That brings McAdams to the low side. Put McAdams now around the 14. He may set his sights on the 36. So as I say that, Todd, thinking maybe Kevin's saving his stuff, he's back up to P3, and he may have something left to make a run forward here and battle for that second spot toward turn 1.
Saving stuff, it's getting that late in the going now. We got about 28 laps to go, and I think saving anything is out the window here. I think pretty much these guys are going to show everything they have. I believe they still have to come down pit road one more time. This is probably where you're going to see maybe a two-tire strategy if you're mired towards the back just a little bit. Maybe you'll see a two-tire strategy. Maybe you'll see a four-tire strategy. These guys should be able to make it one more stop now. I believe they're in that window, so green flag pit stop should be coming up there, Phil.
Yeah, and the first of those takers is number 71 of Chris Wetz. Now, he was one of those guys clinging on to one of those, end of the lead lap positions. He's elected to come to pit road first. He's a guy locked in right now, currently 6th place in the current playoff point standing. So he's in a comfortable spot, maybe making a late race pit stop a little bit earlier than everybody else and maybe benefiting on those new tires. There's 25 laps left to go. These guys still have to all come to pit road. I think that's a pretty good play there by the 71 Ford.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good play by the number 71, trying to do something to try to get himself back up here in contention for maybe even the top 5. May not be able to win the race, but get himself into convention into the top 5 here. As we're waiting on their leaders to come down pit road, the 20 Dave Schildhouse is going to flash by. Looks like he's going to stay out one more time. Same way with the 36 Taylor Morgan. It's got to be coming real soon for these guys. As you don't want to, if some of these guys short pit, they're able to make up a lot of ground on them fresh Goodyear Eagles. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to short pit and who's going to stay out longer.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Guys, you can also note now that joined Chris Wetz, the 9 of Brandon Lawson, the 17 of Matt Vassar, the 67 of Andrew Swartz. All those guys have come to pit road. Also, Blake McCandless in the 74. Those guys have traditionally, they have all night long, have been the first of those takers to come on toward pit road. So we'll have to see how these guys all shake out. 144 laps on the board, so under 25 laps left to go. The question is, knowing these guys have to come to pit road, the question is when? When are they going to do it? When are we going to see the likes of Schildhouse and Morgans and McAdams? When do our leaders come on pit road, Todd? It can't be too terribly long.
No, I couldn't imagine it's going to be that much longer as these guys are whittling down the laps here. Still the top 4 flash by the pit road, so none of those guys coming down on the pit road either. Is number 16 of Jason Justice. He's still out. Matt Durr's still out there. Those guys still motoring on, but I believe we got Justin Malolo down on pit road there, Phil.
Yep, 4-tire pit stop for Justin Malolo Chevrolet. Also a 4-tire pit stop, I believe. I got to confirm that for the number 30 of Corey Carpenter. Those guys' work is complete. They're going to rejoin the race. They're down and away. That's more guys that were inside the top 8 here in the current standing. So those guys getting those fresh tires, and we'll see how they shake out.
Yeah, we're going to see how those guys shake out. Here comes Colin Keister, the first of the leaders down to pit road. The number 14 machine relinquishes his 3rd running spot. Right side tires going on the number 14 to Colin Keister. Looks like see what they're going to do. Going to go to the left side, or yep, indeed they're going to go to the left side. 14 has 4 tires on his car. He's down and away.
Have to see how all the rest. You got to think before too long. All these leaders come onto pit road, so we'll have to see how they come. And here they come. It is open. The Schildhouse machine is on. Taylor Morgans is on pit road. The 26 of Kevin McAdams, I believe, also joined the fray on pit road. No, McAdams stayed out, so we'll have to update where he's going to come in. But, most of our race leaders, Schildhouse, Morgans, the rest of that group, they're all on pit road.
Yeah, he's got Dave Schildhouse down here on pit road. He was your race leader. And that number 20 machine, the Amazon-sponsored Ford Fusion, down there on pit road. Right side tires have been completed on his side. Now left side's down, and he's down and away. 4 tires to call for both himself and the 36 of Taylor Morgans.
I was peeking at the 36 pit stop, but there was some discussion about them maybe taking 2 and gambling, but Taylor going to gamble on 4. And I think these guys down here, I think this 36 crew, I think they're tired of seeing me. I've spent a lot of time down here tonight. I mean, they put Kit Kat in those cars, and I'm a connoisseur of chocolate, so I think they may just get rid of me here shortly there, Todd. I keep down here trying to rag some candy from these guys.
I'm sure if they win tonight there, Phil, instead of Gatorade, they'll shower you in Kit Kats, and maybe Joe will pick one of those up for you down there in Victory Lane.
That would make for a very, very happy broadcast. So tonight is a little bit of chocolate. Sounds really good right now. Looking toward pit road, believe the 26 of Kevin McAdams just completed his 4-tire pit stop. He's going to rejoin the race in turn number 2. I believe it was 4 tires down there, Todd. Let me go back and scroll on through, but I believe we still got, the 16 and the 92 of Matt Durr as guys who have to come to pit road. But going back and looking, it was 4 tires on the Kevin McAdams machine. So we'll have to see, is anybody going to gamble on 2? So far, the question is no.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to see these guys gamble on 2 now. I think most of them are going to stay out the rest of the time here. As we're on lap 150 of 167 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The FTF Racing Canadian 400 KA from Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that name, I tell you, whoever came up with that name, that's a nice tongue twister. It's a nice play of words there. I'm enjoying that name tonight.
Hey, it's been a fun night out there. We'll throw you out a little Cameron Fry out there tonight. Hey, as they work their way. Now, Matt Durham, the 92, he has brought his Ford, the John Deere Ford, to pit road. 4 tires for the 92, so he's going to pit his way out of the second position. That leaves only one. The number 16 of Jason Justice. Todd, I believe he's our only driver who has scored on the league lap last time by. I believe he's yet to find his way to pit road.
I'm not sure what the 16 of Jason Justice is doing. Is he going to try to set up for maybe 2 tires, like you said, Phil, or maybe I don't believe he can make it. Not the strategy call that we had. So the 16 is out there in the lead. So we're gonna have to wait and see.
Well, he has a full lap on the field right now. I mean, imagine if the caution flag would have come out right now. He could trap a lot of drivers a lap down, and he come down the front stretch to put 153 of 167 up to the board. Jason Justice going to stay out at least one more time in the Bud Light Ford. So he is our current race leader, the only car scored on the lead lap. Matt Vassar is currently second, Corey Carpenter third, Colin Keister fourth, and the champ David Schildhouse, he is currently fifth, but those guys, Todd, from second all the way back onto 14th place, Derek Justice, those guys all mired one lap down.
Yeah, and that's rather interesting is those guys mired one lap down, and Jason's out there soldiering along. Maybe he gets a quick race yellow. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, for that 16 to get one of those yellow flags right now. But don't want to say that the rest of the field. It wouldn't be interesting, but Jason Justice would surely love that at this point. But he's out there soldiering around. Let's see if he's going to come down on the pit road this time as he enters turn number 3. It looks like he is not going to come down on the pit road this time by another lap logged for the Bud Light Ford Fusion out front.
Yeah, and you can tell, you can hear the tires just screeching in the in-car view of that number 16 as he's into these corners. He is all the way up to the top side of the racetrack. He's flirting with that wall-end disaster off the exit of turn 2. He's about as far up there exiting that corner as you could possibly be. You know, the old Harry Gant line, something that I've personally never been able to do, but Jason doing it like a champ here tonight in that number 16. A guy, you know, hoping to find his way into a playoff scenario, a big win, but he's going to pit his way out of the race lead. Interesting, he stayed out about 5 laps longer than anybody else, but what's it going to be from pit road? Is it going to be 2 tires? Let's see, Todd. He's on his way to his stall.
He's on his way to the stall, the 16 Bud Light Ford Fusion of Jason Justice on his way to his stall. Is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 4? He's here at his pit stall. Right side tire is going on. The number 16 of Jason Justice. Let's see if they're going to complete the right side and just let him go. We're going to see if we go around the left side. It looks like they're going to take 4 tires. Jason Justice, questionable call why he stayed out so late. Maybe waiting for that yellow flag is that's going to hurt him real big.
He lost precious time there. I am absolutely puzzled, Joe Allen. You would think he stayed out that long. You had to make that gamble on 2 tires. I'm really intrigued by that. I don't know if I like that call whatsoever. Guess new tires are huge, but he probably lost a good 6 to 8 seconds out there, staying out longer than the rest of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite understand the strategy call there. I know he was probably hoping to get a late race caution there to mire the field up to where he would have had to come down pit road, and everybody else had the choice of taking a wave around and having 15 lap older tires than him. Maybe, I mean, I could see that, but Jason came into this thing, I believe he was on the cut line, you know, being in the 8th position, if not outside looking in, you know, coming into this event as far as having 3 races left in the UFI round of 12. So, you know, I'm just not sure that this was the right strategy call for him, unless there's a late race caution here and he has the fresher tires and he can stay out when everybody has to pit, then absolutely. But if this thing goes green, I don't know. I would have at least risked taking 2 tires to put myself in contention to be up there, because you know all these guys are going to come down and take 4 tires, most likely, even, with a caution flag, I would imagine. So I don't know. I'm a little dumbfounded down here in the booth with what, was going through Jason's mind. I would like to pick his brain a little bit and see what his thoughts were on that later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a different play there. You thought with that strategy he'd have to gamble for 2 tires. Going to come out now the last car on the lead lap. I'm not sure that's what he envisioned or whatever, but he's now, over 16 seconds off of our current race leader, Colin Keister. So it just shows you how much time you can lose here. And you can imagine, Todd, we're going to put 160 laps up on the board this time around. And Colin Keister, the number 14, no surprise whatsoever. He's found his way to the race lead, but he's got a hungry crew behind them with the 20 of David Schildhaus and the 36 of Taylor Morgans. Looks like we're going to have a 3-car race for the win here.
Yeah, you don't want to count Kevin McAdams. He's lurking back there in that 4th spot. He may not have the best pit stop in that number 26, but she's staying out just a little bit longer. Taylor Morgans looks like he's going to be able to complete the pass there on the number 20 of David Schildhaus, but Taylor Morgans is at 2nd spot. Now he's going to be able to track down Colin Keister. Keister was the first guy in, just remember. 1 lap later, the 36 and the number 20 machine, they came in. And then 1 lap even later, the 26 of Kevin McAdams came in. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here as we're on lap 161 of 167. Colin Keister, your current race leader, but not by much, 0.569.
Yeah, it's about 5 car lengths off the exit of turn number 4, and they're going to have a lap car up ahead here to contend with as well. We'll see what that lap car is going to do as they hit turn number 1. Looks like he's going to yield. No, he's not going to yield up to that high side. I thought for certain he would give the runner the lead that run on the low side. That is DJ Curtis, that lap car, the 54 Toyota. Now he's going to swing up to the outside of the racetrack, open up that lane for the 14 of Colin Keister. But what that did, Todd, that brought Taylor Morgans right into the fray. What was 5 car lengths is now 1 off of turn 4. We may have a race for the lead.
Yeah, it's even shrunk for the 20 of David Schildhaus. Schildhaus able to pull up on those 2 guys. He shrunk that down to about 4 car lengths. So, and Kevin McAdams is coming right back there. You can see him lurking in the shadows in the number 26 machine. He's got a little bit longer of a distance. But the great battle going to start heating up, I believe, up towards the front. As Taylor Morgans peaks down to the bottom side. Here, the 14 of Colin Keister not going to try at that time. He's just trying to play a little bit of nick and tuck here with that number 14 machine.
Well, Todd, I'm going to play a little bit of FEN trivia for you. Look at that top 3 on the current leaderboard. Can you tell me what they all have in common here?
The green spoilers. They're all in the chase. They're indeed.
Well, not the answer I was looking for, but that one is correct. How about there are 3 most consecutive winners here on FEN. 3 weeks ago, David Schildhaus went to victory lane. 2 weeks ago, we saw Taylor Morgans claim the checkered flag, and 1 week ago, we saw Colin Keister go to victory lane. So top 3 are all 3 guys that have won here, advanced themselves into the next round with a win, and those guys looking poised and, content to do so once again here tonight. As if you can believe it, off of turn number 2, the 36 of Taylor Morgans to the low side, we get a side-by-side drag race for turn 3, and we're coming to 2 to go.
Yeah, we're coming to 2 to go, and here comes David Schildhaus into the fray. We're going to have to see what he's going to do here. He's going to probably make this 3 wide, Phil. These 2 guys are racing their teammates. Just remember that. The 36 and the 14, they're going to give each other room. Not so much for David Schildhaus. He's not a teammate of those guys. He's looking to try to make himself into the next round, so he don't have to worry about it. Here comes McAdams. He's coming into this fray, too. He's watching these guys. He's loving this. He's loving every second of this down the back straightaway. Still side-by-side battle between the 36 of Morgans and the 14 of Colin Keister. Neither one of these guys giving each other an inch.
No, they're not. And Schildhaus now looking to the low side as they're coming to the white flag. One more trip around the 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Who is going to win the Canadian 400 KA from the Charlotte Motor Speedway? They are side by side for the race leader, turn 1. Keister up high. Morgans to the low side. Give it to Taylor Morgans by a skosh off of turn 2.
Yeah, by a skosh off of turn number 2, but fighting back is Colin Keister down the back straightaway here, down into turn number 3. The 36 Taylor Morgans down on the bottom side. Colin Keister, oh, they almost touched there. Oh, off of turn number 4. Looks like it's going to be, it's going to be close here. I'm not going to be able to see it, Phil. I could not see it from my vantage point. It looks like Taylor Morgan is going to take that down here by scoring a timing, thankfully. But that wasn't a race. Colin Keister hit the outside wall, and after that, my camera view, my vantage point went away. And those guys 3 wide across the start-finish line. Amazing finish. Taylor Morgan's to win by .047. David Schildhouse right there, too, .062. A fantastic finish here for those top 3 guys. And even Kevin McAdams got himself back into the fray.
Yeah, what a great run by these guys. It was a 3-wide finish here at the line. David Schildhouse tried to make the move to the low side, but could not make that move work. And it's Taylor Morgan's going to go to victory lane here tonight in that Kit Kat Chevrolet. So let Joe go down there. Hopefully he can score a couple of those Kit Kats for me. Colin Keister going to come home second. David Schildhouse third. Kevin McAdams fourth. And how about the number 30 of Corey Carpenter? 2 incidents tonight there, Todd, but he brings it home with a solid top 5.
Yeah, solid top 5 for Corey Carpenter. Is with all the stuff that he had going on. That was a great race by Corey Carpenter to keep him inside the top 5. Kevin McAdams, Joe's pick, I believe, finishing up 4th here. David Schildhouse, my pick, finishing up 3rd. And guess what, Phil? You finally won one of these. It's been a little bit, but you finally won one of these pick things as Taylor Morgan takes down the victory.
Well, it's definitely about time for sure. It's been a while. I've carried around that black cloud, it feels like, for months and months now. And, I picked Taylor to win. I apologize if I would have jinxed him in advance, but looks like it was right tonight. And Taylor going to go to victory lane. So let's see if Todd, I can't get these top 3 squared away. I know I'm going to run down and try to get Colin and our runner-up finisher. We're going to try to get our race winner, Taylor Morgan's, a victory lane. But I'm going to throw it down to you tonight, Todd. I'm going to give you the distinction of interviewing the champ. So, Todd, I believe you've caught up with the Amazon Ford and driver David Schildhouse. So take it away.
I have indeed caught up with the driver, number 20, the Amazon Ford Fusion here, David Schildhouse. Dave, they don't call you a champ for a reason. From last year, still bringing home a 3rd-place finish. Good points run here this evening. I picked you because you said I wouldn't go wrong. So, I got second to Phil. We're not going to live that down for quite some time there, David, as he picked Taylor to win this.
Well, as you can see there in the closing laps, we were 1 slip up from the 36 away from being right and being in victory lane. But I had the best seat in the house to watch that. I know you guys had it on the broadcast, but I truly had the best seat in the house to watch that duel between Taylor Morgans and Colin Keister for the win. That was absolutely incredible. But the number 20 Amazon Ford was fantastic tonight. We were extremely competitive, and that's kind of the run that I needed after sort of a lackluster 2 weeks there in round number 1. So really felt good to come out, be competitive with these guys, and have a chance for a win tonight.
Well, now Taylor Morgan's, like we said, David, now he has the pressure knocked off of him, so the next couple of weeks he's able to do what you were able to do here in this last round. Tell us how important that is, David, to have that pressure off of you in these rounds.
It's a beautiful thing to not have that pressure. I was carefree, worry-free, and maybe a little too lax there at New Hampshire and Dover, and we didn't get very good finishes. But again, when you have a win in the bank, it's sort of irrelevant. You're just going for bonus points and all that, and Taylor definitely has plenty of those. So it's a huge bonus to have that win early in the round, and you sort of just waltz through and watch the chaos unfold around you. All the drama and implications and aggressive going around, all the usual stuff. But 3rd place finish tonight, that'll be good for points overall. And we'll take that going into Talladega next week. I know there's 4 guys right now coming out of this race that are going to be a lot more nervous heading into Talladega than me.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot more guys going to be nervous than you as of right now. And Talladega is one of those game-changing type of tracks that you just don't want something to go wrong there. Things happen in the blink of an eye, and your championship could end that quickly there at Talladega. And that's you would rather get a win and try to get yourself in before that Talladega race, or else secure yourself in points really, really well. But Kevin. But David, I'm going to give you the floor. The microphone's all yours, and you were able to stop it. I was going to say you were able to stop Kevin McAdams' streak of getting here on Full Velocity Network, and that's what I was going to say is you were able to hold him off too here in the closing laps. He was not a factor, but he's been here on Full Velocity Network. I believe it's 3 weeks in a row, and he's been gloating about that. So you guys in the top 3 were able to stop him too in that too.
Well, Kevin's no slouch. He's a top-notch competitor, just like the 2 guys that finished in front of me tonight. So it's a race with the best, and keep Kevin from getting that 4th straight top 3 finish. that's a credit to the three of us that finished ahead of him. But overall, again, great night. Really proud of the way that everything went. Everyone did a great job tonight. Pit stops were outstanding, and that was a big game changer. And so again, big thanks to Amazon, Samsung, Full Velocity Network for covering our sport here tonight, FTF for the hosting of the league. Everyone out in Shieldhouse Nation on Twitch, the third place finishes for you. We'll get after him next week at Talladega. And appreciate the time tonight, guys. We'll see you then.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the driver number 20, Amazon Ford Fusion, David Shillhouse, the champion from last year, looking to repeat this year. I'm going to throw it down to, I believe, Phil, who's caught up our second place finisher here this evening.
Yeah, he was one spot short of going back-to-back here on the Full Velocity Network. And, of course, that's the driver of a number 14 of Colin Keister. And, Colin, what an awesome race when Taylor put on those last closing laps. Thought the outside lane was going to be the place to be. It looked like it was a fast way around all night, but just a little bit short. And I'm sure that contact with the outside wall in that closing lap, that certainly didn't help at all.
Oh, no, it didn't at all. I thought I was going to be able to hold them off, but it got really tight there late exit and just knocked them all down.
But you got to be proud of the run here tonight. Of course, you get the win last week to comfortably punch yourself into this UFI round of 8. But you've got the strength of those 31 playoff points. You had a 26-point buffer on the current cushion line to advance yourself into the SRA round of 8 here in 2 weeks from tonight here when we get out past Talladega and out through Kansas. But going into Talladega next week is a wild card race. How much do those playoff points enter into the back of your mind, and how much does that nice little cushion of those 26 points, how much does that give you kind of that sigh of relief knowing you put it together a really good second place run here tonight?
It's definitely a really good relief, especially going to Talladega, because you never know what's going to happen. And I typically get into a wreck almost every time we go to a super speedway.
That's something you and I can both say we do quite a bit there, getting wrecked at those big restrictor plate tracks. Well, Colin, once again, you got the big win last week, a runner-up finish here tonight. I'm sure you're definitely proud of. But I want to give you the microphone one more time. Give a shout-out to all your family, your friends, your sponsors, anybody out there who may be watching live or go back and watch this thing later on in Full Velocity.
Oh, yeah, first of all, I'd just like to thank you guys for broadcasting the race. That's pretty cool. You guys come out for this chase. And I'd like to thank the admins at FTF for putting on a good show. And my teammates for running well, especially Taylor. That was really fun racing with him there those last couple of laps.
Well, Colin, congratulations, buddy, on a second-place finish. And good luck at Talladega next week, buddy. It's definitely a true wild card race. So go out there and survive and do the best you can. And good luck next week, man. We'll see you next week for certain.
All right, thank you.
All right, Colin Keister, our runner-up finisher here tonight. But I'm going to throw it down to victory lane. Our buddy Joe Allen is down there, and I believe Joe is going to have a very, very happy Taylor Morgan's at number 36. So, Joe, take it away down there in victory lane, and if you can't, see if you can't, get me a couple of Kit Kats on their crew. I think they were pretty annoyed with me.
Well, thank you guys. Down here with Taylor Morgan's very happy crew, very happy driver. Taylor, I'm sure this has alleviated a lot of pressure on you now. You went out there, you did what David Shieldhouse did during the SMS Leagues round of 16, and you win this first race, and you can kind of go out there and relax. You don't have the worries of the inevitable Talladega coming up. You can kind of go out there and run aggressive, take some chances, try to get stage points, and set yourself even further apart from the field than what you really already have done through the regular season here. But man, tell us about those last couple of laps there, battling with your teammate Colin Keister. I'm sure it was anxious and exciting and white knuckle driving in the cockpit, but it was sure fun to watch on TV.
Oh man, yeah, that was quite possibly the most intense racing I've ever done. Oh man, I'm still kind of shaking after that. That was crazy.
We can
surprised I didn't wad him up, honestly.
With my experience in driving the FTF EXE, the special edition of it, it's not easy. I mean, it really pushes on entry, but it has a tendency to get loose when you burn the right rear tire off of it. So, I can understand why you felt like you were probably driving on ice. And, David Shieldhouse said it best when he was up here earlier. He was waiting to see which one of you were going to make the mistake. And we saw Colin get up into the wall just a little bit off of turn 4 coming to take the checkered flag. But very impressive to see you guys do that for 3 or 4 laps or however long it was. I mean, I was sitting at the edge of my seat wondering who was going to make the mistake, and neither of you really did it. That's just two hard-nosed racers that, a lot of respect between the two of you to go out there and do that. that, and it must feel good to get a 1-2 finish for your guys' team as well.
Oh yeah, that feels great. It also feels great to not wreck. And talking about David Shieldhouse, I thought he was going to take it 3 wide when he got up to us. He had enough momentum. But yeah, man, we ran 3 wide there, or we ran side by side there for, like 4 laps, and I washed up in 3 about 3 times, and we still were able to come out without wrecking. But yeah, Colin had it. He had the momentum. If he hadn't hit the wall 4, that's what did it there. Otherwise, I think he would have had the win. But man, that was really fun. And yeah, it's good to have the pressure off. But now we're just focused on Dega, keeping Colin out of trouble, and getting Blake a good finish there, possibly a win. Going to really help those guys out at Talladega. Not gonna ride in the back the whole race. I know that.
Absolutely. With that win, you kind of have the freedom to go up there and take some chances to hopefully help your teammates get a win, to secure another one of those drivers, up into the next round of the chase with you, which would obviously be a big win for your guys' team. But Taylor, congratulations, buddy. You know the tradition up here. You've been here a couple times with us. I'm going to give you the mic. I know you got some people you probably want to thank that may watch this back, so the floor is all yours.
Oh yeah, well first and foremost, I got to thank Cosman and the Splash and Go graphics guys. Man, they gave me a really, really cool new Kit Kat scheme, refurbished a little bit, and that was a lot of fun to race that for the first time. And yeah, just thank all the admins and Justin for putting this thing on. It was a great track, quite possibly the most raciest track we've had this year. So that was a ton of fun. So yeah, thanks to those guys, and thanks to you guys for putting on a great show as well.
Alrighty, guys. Well, Taylor, congratulations again from everybody here at the Full Velocity Network. Win number 2 in the FTF playoffs here, so that's awesome to see you go out there and do that. And congratulations, buddy. We look forward to hopefully talking with you more over the next couple of weeks.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Phil. I'm going to steal some Kit Kats down here and bring them back up to the booth for you guys. But awesome and fantastic race. Super excited for all of those guys, and that finish, that was one hell of a finish.
Oh, it certainly was, and congratulations to Taylor Morgans for taking down the win here tonight. He's going to advance on to the SRA Round of 8 here in a couple of weeks, but it is time, for our weekly points update here, post-race here for the FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs. And normally we're joined by the operator of FTF, that being our buddy Justin Malello, but Justin not going to join us here tonight. But imagine this, somebody who wanted to join us, guy who wanted to make a streak of 4 consecutive weeks in a row, Kevin McAdams, who somehow figured out how to slither your way in here with some kind of administration duty. So give us an update here. Where do these guys sit going into Talladega next week?
Well, guys, it's a pretty close race in the back of the pack. With Taylor winning, he's got a pretty big margin. He's got 3,100 points. Myself in the 26 car, Kevin McAdams is going to be second, 20 back. Colin Keister with his finish tonight is 23 back. David Shieldhouse will be 4th, and Derek Justice will round out the top 5 going into Talladega. And then we've got Jason Justice 6th, Maverick Morrow is 7th. The tiebreaker for 8th is actually going to go to Corey Carpenter. He had a top 5 tonight. Chris Wetz is also tied with Corey, but is currently 9th due to the tiebreaker. Matt Vassar is 10th, 63 back. Andrew Schwartz is actually 11th, and Blake McCandless with tonight's finish is 12th. So you got the last 6 or 7 guys pretty close. You're going to have to probably watch out for them. Talladega looking to make the big moves, looking to lead laps, looking to get stage points. So most likely we'll see the front guys being a little bit more conservative, be more of a team effort, probably to get someone like Colin a win, someone like Jason a win. So it's going to be an interesting story going into Talladega.
Well, it is certainly going to make for one wild and dramatic evening 1 week from tonight when we get to Talladega. I mean, it is truly a wild card race. It can basically be won by almost anybody in the field. So, Kevin, you figured out a way. You're not going to get up here on a podium or after a post-race with an incident. You figured out as an admin how to come up and join us. So thanks for the update, buddy. I'm sure we'll do this again. And congratulations on you. Had a decent run here tonight, but just a little bit shy. But we'll definitely catch up again next week for certain.
All right, guys. See you next week. 5 in a row. Let's do it. Have a good one.
All right, sounds like a plan. Kevin McAdams with this week's point update here for the FTF Jones Cup Series as we move into next week at Talladega. That is going to be one spectacular night. And if this series isn't, is competitive enough already and these guys jockeying for position, we know how restrictor plate racing is. I can't imagine the moves we're going to see up here next week.
Yeah, I can't imagine what type of moves are going to finish that race at Talladega. Those guys are going to go big or go home. A lot of those guys that are down on the outside looking in, like Blake McCandless, those guys are going to have to make a move, but they're also going to have to shy on the caution side and try to be able to make themselves up into the top 8 once again. And that's no tough task, no easy task, any of that. I mean, Talladega. It just can cause you to just want to snap.
Well, round number 5 for the FTF Jones Cup playoffs live here next Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. start time. But next up for us here live on the Full Velocity Network, tomorrow night, yes, that's right, Monday night, the second of a 3-race slate with our friends at the Full Throttle Sim Racing League, FTSR tomorrow night for the Super Late Models, double points night, championship night for the Super Late Model Series at the Richmond International Raceway. So that is going to be one terrific night. Tomorrow night is a 150-lap action-packed affair. Tomorrow night, live air time, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. So look out to all our social media outlets there for our live link. And until tomorrow night, for Joe Allen in the booth, who, as always, doing a superb job, my broadcast partner, Todd Stanton, always with insight that you just can't find anywhere else. My name is Phil Lacasse. Thank you to out there, everybody that tuned in on YouTube tonight, enjoying the ultimate esport experiences only we bring to you live on the Full Velocity Network. So we'll see you tomorrow night, and y'all have a good night.